Okay. So, well, that was a whole different issue. That was, yeah. Nick, Nick comes on the show and everything gets all. Hang on a second. And hold on. I got to get this. So, Skype, there it is.
Skype.
There we go. All right. Oh, good Lord.
I feel like it's Skype. It doesn't like me, and it just occasionally lets me know, usually when I come on your show.
All right. All right, it's working now.
I absolutely sure.
Yes. All right. So.
Popping out the chats.
Yeah, here we go.
Goodness, I can't keep up with the rumble.
I know.
Yeah, it's booming.
It's
yeah.
It's rumbling.
It's rumbling.
Oh, there you go.
Man, we already got. How many people we already got over
Even
there?
Nate's here first. What the
I
heck?
know.
What's going on? This is like the Twilight Zone.
Yeah. I know. We already got
That's why I
20
didn't
people
believe
watching.
him.
All right. Okay, so we finally. I think we're good. I think we got everything up and running. So, full disclosure. I was beta testing the static stream key, and I will say that the first beta test was a fail. I had to very quickly jump back on and put in the stream key that goes with the stream, and I had to shut off OBS and turn it back on in order to make it work. So, but we're up, we're live, we're good, and okay.
Everything's operating smoothly, completely to plan. There were no hitches. Everything's perfect.
Everything's perfect. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the show.
It just works, just like Todd Howard says.
I hated it. Each time you have to change the chat as.
Oh, true. You know what? I should chat as the channel. I would.
Look at my icon. My icon is different on my. I'm using the same icon on the channel as well as the user, and look at it. It looks different.
That is weird.
The one is broken. And I don't know
weird.
what it is.
So
I replaced it with another one and then uploaded a new one, but I think it's cached and it's using the old one.
I want them to allow us to change our usernames. That is what I want. Because
that too.
If I knew then what I know now, I would have done a much better job with my username. So.
Oh yeah, me too.
Yeah, these are things.
Would have done that differently.
These are things. These are things they need to work on. So.
You're saying 2005 on Xbox?
Well, your username you can always create a new one.
Yes, but
Rev says don't cross the static string keys.
Too late.
If I create a new one, all of our. By the way, I was told yesterday. This officially is our 101st stream on Rumble.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, you've been streaming like a madman, man. I've got 2 streams out there.
Dude,
that's as far as I've gotten. I've gotten like 2.
That's why you don't have to watch regular TV. It's like you just check and Mike will be on.
Well,
yeah, pretty much.
Some way of fashion.
If it's not him, it's DJC. DJC will
he'll
stream for like 30 minutes and then go away and then come back and stream for 30 more minutes.
Yes, he is.
It's crazy.
I know. I know. He's streaming every day. He's Panda's streaming more. And it's crazy. And it seems like we were talking about this yesterday because I was doing the making of Karateka, which fantastic freaking oh my goodness. I hit up Mike afterwards. I said, dude, the remaster is sublime. And Jordan Mechner
really
Jordan Mechner liked and retweeted me. So I've got a chance. That is a bucket list. That's a bucket list guest for us, guys. If I could score Jordan Mechner, I would love to get him on here to talk about that game and to talk about the making of and that kind of thing. Because I know it's not everybody's cup of tea because it's old and it's dated. It's definitely a dated game. But
I'll be honest, I thought the first version, like the Atari 800 version you showed, ran pretty good.
It did. It's the best running.
That Apple II version was awful.
It was,
It
but
was
I did.
painful to watch. I felt bad for you playing it. It was just bad.
But well,
the color
no.
wasn't look fun, but it was just too slow.
Actually, the Apple II version was okay. The Commodore 60. I'm sorry, Peter. The Commodore 64 version.
Yeah. That's what I told you. It's like very sluggish.
Yeah, it was very sluggish. However,
Oh, was that the Commodore 64? I thought it was the Apple II one that was so slow.
No, the Apple II one actually, for a minute, was my favorite because it has the 2-button controller.
Yeah, the Commodore does not. That's only one.
Neither
button.
did
That
the
was already
Atari.
a pain.
Neither did the Atari. You had to tap it to punch and hold it to kick.
Yeah.
So
I wondered how you were differentiating between punch and kick on that game, because I must have missed that when you were explaining it. I'm like, is it a distance thing or what?
It is. So you punch when you're close, you kick when you're. I mean, like a normal. Like he got that right. But the way you do it in the game, Jordan Mechner built that game for the Apple II, and when the Apple II had a nice 2-button controller. So one button was punch, one button was kick. Well, when they converted it to the Atari computer system and to the Commodore 64, those systems only had 1-button joysticks. So they had to.
Well, they had 2 buttons, but they did the same thing.
Yes, so essentially that. So
that seems like that was
thank
done
you.
poorly then.
So what? Well, I don't think they. I think they. I don't remember the reasoning for it. I just know that that's what they did. So, in retrospect, when they converted that game, they had to figure out how to convert that control scheme. And so what they did was they just made punch tapping the button and kick holding the button. And, when that's all you know, it works. But it was all I knew. So,
I mean, if you start out on it that way and you're used to it, then it's no big deal. I mean, it's not like it's the fastest paced game in existence. It was more about positioning and hitting at the right time.
Correct. And you are correct, Rab. Apple II was the first version because, again, that's what Jordan Mechner, that's what he wrote it on. But then it was converted a year later to the Atari 8-bit and to the Commodore 64. So, my point was they had to make accommodations for the difference in controller. But the bottom line for me is that I really, it really is a special game for me, because it was the predecessor to Prince of Persia. Like that's the game that Jordan Mechner built Prince of Persia on. Was that game? He took
that's pretty obvious when you look at it, because you can see a lot of the bones of that in there, just in the fluidity of the movement, like the number of frame animations per movement.
Yes.
Really do lean itself to Prince of Persia, and it's why Prince of Persia, when a lot of people played the first one, it felt so slow, because there were so many frames. Most games didn't use that many frames of animation for movement.
No, it was all rotoscoped. It was all rotoscoped. It was all, all those keyframes that they put in to make it fluid, also slowed it down. Which as long as back then you didn't think about it. You think about it now, but you didn't think about it back then. So
you did in certain areas, like playing Earthworm Jim was a much more challenging experience than playing other 16-bit games because it had more frames of animation, right?
Yes.
It made certain things that you did slower. And it was noticeable, particularly with some of the pacing of the action in the game, which would be faster by nature. You're like, okay, you almost put too many frames of animation to make this really workable, right?
Right. But when they did that, it did. His idea was to cut latency, to cut hitbox, to try to make it as realistic and cinematic as possible. And to that, he did a pretty good job.
I know. I think he did a great job. The last version of that you showed, I think, still holds up today.
Oh my good. Well, which are you talking about, the remaster?
Yeah.
So the remaster. Well, that's because the remaster was built this year. Mike basically.
Oh, okay, that explains it then.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Mike built that.
Because it looked like a current indie dev project, but I thought it was several years old. I'm like, well, this
No.
still holds up. But
No.
given the fact that it's made this year, that makes total sense.
Yeah. No, he built it this year, and he built it for specifically that and the as Gio said, the Death Bounce remaster. He built both of those this year to go along with that that Gold Master series. So, all right. So, it's just you and me, Nick. How's your week been?
Did we tap everybody else out?
We did. Chris is gone. Peter's gone. It's our show now.
Yeah, we bored everybody to tears. That happens when we talk retro. My weekend went fine. I'm doing some stuff around the house this week because we took time off.
Nice.
So I spent this weekend being a bit behind on doing anything for channels, mostly because I was trying to get things set up so I could potentially start streaming and stuff again. So I was doing some testing and working on that and trying to get in some more combat and some Starfield and things of that nature. So it's been more challenging doing content because I've had a lot of games I've really wanted to sink my teeth into. And so I've been wanting to spend time on those. And it's really just kind of like, because sometimes I'll spend 6-7 hours on Saturday just trying to get things done, and then I'll finish them up on Sunday. And it leaves me a lot of times with very little time on the weekend to really dig into any gaming, because I try to get a lot of that done because work is kind of busy, and then I have chores and stuff afterwards. So by the time I get done with all that, I don't have a whole lot of time to do much with it in the evening. So, you know, it is what it is. But I got caught up, and I'm hoping to get a little bit ahead this week because I have time off. So that'll be good.
And how are so? You are you're digging Mortal Kombat because I'm.
Yeah, I was really struggle bussing on one boss fight, and then I realized I was playing the game wrong. And by that, what I mean is I was messing with invasion mode. And invasion mode is part RPG, part fighting game, right? That's the mode I was playing when you saw it the other day. So there's a normal story mode, then there's the invasion mode, which took place of like the crypt and the vault and stuff like that they've had in previous games. So you get like items for your characters, you get skins for your characters, you get all kinds of different little things, and there's things that are specific to the invasion itself. I was fighting one boss and getting like lit up really bad. And I finally stopped and took a look at it after an hour, just being super frustrated with it, and looked and went, okay, the character I'm using is incredibly weak, like takes 100% more damage to the type of damage that's going on in this fight. That's problem one. And two, I haven't allocated any of my skill points. That's problem two.
Problem two.
So I changed characters and then just wrecked that fight. I just took a character that I took Shao Kahn into that fight, and he gets like 50% less damage from those sources, and it just made the fight a cakewalk. So I needed to pay more attention to what was going on in the fight and what elements were at play, and choose somebody whose stats would fight it accordingly.
There you go. All right.
So
No,
I was playing it wrong. I feel like I'm stuttering.
It was a little bit. I got it taken care of. So.
Okay.
So. All right. Well, while we're waiting on Chris and Peter, wherever in the world they went, welcome to everybody up on YouTube. Luke said is at GeekStorian IC. Welcome, Luke. Brother Timmy's in the house. Sir X-Man, what are you doing up there, X? You know you should be. You know where you should be. Actually, you should be here at some point. We should have had you come on as well, man. That would have been insane.
We got to get him back on Retro Roots.
We do got to get him back on Retro Roots. So, what's up, King? King's in the house. All right. And over on Rumble, with the 35 people already watching, welcome everybody. Good grief. Let me scroll up. Brother Nate, Brother Rico's in the house. Brother PJ. PJ, who hopefully is score watching for me as the Orioles are on the road to 100 wins. I am not even.
I don't do sports. I've never gotten into it. It's just not a me thing.
I love baseball. The Orioles have disappointed me for a long time, and this year, new team, young team, semi-new manager, they're up 6-3 on Houston, PJ. And Gio's the other guy, Guitar Gio, another big Orioles fan. So Orioles are up 6-3 on the reigning division champion or reigning World Series champion Astros. Sorry, Chris.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Good luck. Well, I mean, these guys. There's a good chance, Chris. These two teams are going to be playing in the ALCS.
Okay, we'll be at the game then.
Are you going to go?
I don't know. Probably not.
Do you follow the Rangers?
No,
or the Astros, rather?
I do, but I only wait till the playoffs.
You're one of those.
Too many games. I like baseball, but too many games to follow.
Just
I'm
look
not
at the
that
box
big.
score.
There you go. So,
I'd rather be live at the game than.
I would too. I took Spencer to his first game. He loved it. So.
Now, going to a game live is a lot of fun. I've done that on
is.
several occasions, and it's always a good time. Watching it on TV, I just can't. Like, if I'm at the stadium and I can get, like, for some reason, like, their terrible hot dogs taste really good at the ballpark. Like, they're not very good hot dogs, but they just taste better for some reason.
I'm with you. And they have the worst quality nachos, but they taste so good.
But they taste great. I don't know what it is. It's something about being at the ballpark makes everything taste better.
Yep. The $8 beer even tastes all right.
I don't know. Last time I went there, I was tortured with Coors Light the whole time. And I know EverCanadian's going to come in here and like strike me dead because he loves Coors.
Yes, but nobody likes light beer, unless it's Yingling, and then I can handle it.
Oh, Yingling, yeah.
Oh yeah,
You get Yingling out here.
You will soon. They are going. They're going national.
Yeah,
Are they? Because they have like a Hershey's one and the regular one. Both sound pretty good to me, but it's just not a brand that's out here.
Their regular lager is great. They are working on Wagons East.
Okay.
Oh.
Well, don't you mean Wagons West?
West, rather. Yeah, Wagons West.
I was about to say.
Somewhere
they're already
along the line.
The East Coast. What are you talking about?
That's very true. Somewhere along the line, they're getting dysentery. Brother Back's in the house. Brother Rab's in the house. Retro Advisory Board. What's up? What's up, Rab? Oh, he says, "Hey, Mr. Metroid, excellent vid, therapeutic ending." Well,
yeah, I got that one posted last night, and then I got another one up today.
Yeah.
I was kind of late getting one up last night because I just realized later, I'm like, well, crap. I haven't done anything today. I couldn't get a stream in when I kind of meant to do a stream, which is kind of why I held off in the first place. And then I'm like, oh, well, I'll try to get this done. And then by the time I got it back up and looked at it, I'm like, oh, God, I'm going to have to spend 40 minutes editing this. Okay, here we go.
Let's see. Ted Brenneman, what's up, Ted? Ted's been hanging out in chat for a while. Master System Marceau, brother Marceau is here. We got to get Marceau on the show very, very soon. I keep saying it, but we actually have to do it. 101st hype.
Where I think he would fit in great too is if we did Retro Roots on Sega and just threw him in. You and him could talk, and I could space out for an hour and a half.
Luke said, "Hey Nick, sorry I couldn't see your comment on YouTube. LOL." What's up, Luke? Luke moved down to the Rumble channel. Guitar Geo's in the house. Ted, look at this. We got everybody showing up. This is outstanding. Outstanding. And you know what? Those of you who are watching and not in the chat, get in the chat. At the very least, hit that follow button, thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, subscribe to our locals. This is we're we're working on making some big changes. The things I got stuff in the works. So if I get some video and pictures of Chris, I could get done. No, I'm waiting on stuff from you.
I need to hire someone to take pictures for me. Take my place.
Take your place. This picture. Why does this picture of Chris look like Ryan Reynolds?
I got a buddy at work who got confused for me, but he's a shorter version of me, but got the same beard. So someone thought he was me until they realized, oh wait, you're not as tall.
That's what you say. He's my.
Well, as long as he doesn't run away with your promotion, you'll be good.
That's right.
There you go.
So you just tell
Maybe
him.
they'll confuse his. If he gets a better paycheck, maybe they'll confuse his paycheck with your paycheck, and then you'll get his paycheck.
There you go. Just
Or
say
you'll
he's-
get both paychecks. Better still.
Ah.
Yeah.
Just say he's your stunt double.
Yeah.
Ah, there you go.
So, and that's weird. Hasselhoff is in Discord. Says he's having trouble with the mobile app. He's trying to chat, so he says hello to everybody. So,
Oh, okay. Hey, Hasselhoff. Good to see you, man.
you could always use the web app. Try that. So, all right.
I find some people are really attached to the phone app, and it works. It's just I don't feel like it's as clean as the web app yet.
It needs.
They've
needs
got
work.
some work to do on that side of the house. I feel like.
Oh yeah, they do, and they know it. The good thing is I try to keep up on this stuff in Rumble's Discord. They do know it.
Yeah. I mean, it's not bad. It just doesn't have some of the niceties of the website, and there's some other things that would be like nice creator tools that I don't feel like are quite there yet. That would be nice to have. But they're kind of picking and choosing their battles, and the ones they're picking, I feel like, are fairly smart. First ones to pick.
No, I agree with that. Sorry, I was letting people know that the chat extreme key didn't work. And it'll get better over time.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, they're still rapidly making changes and trying to add niceties and shore things up, and more importantly, trying to make sure they don't break anything when they do it.
Yes. But I think the biggest thing, and I've talked about this before, the biggest thing that they're doing, which I've never seen many people on other platforms do, is they're listening to people. So like,
Well, that's the advantage of being a smaller company versus somebody like Google and Amazon, right? Because your other examples are YouTube, that was big by the time any of us got on there, and then they got bought by Google, which is an even bigger company, who commonly by default will just sweep your comment under the rug because they're just too big to care. And Amazon's the same way. They bought Twitch, and they just want it to print money. And honestly, it's been costing them more money. It's been making them, so they really don't have any interest in listening to their base at all.
No, they don't. So, but it also helps too that the guy who's kind of heading this up, Rick Versalia, who I didn't realize this. The dude has 2 Emmys. That's kind of cool. He's heading this up, and he's the one who's talking to us, and he's the one who's interacting with us. He's a gamer as well. Like his
I saw him
on
in Lumpy's stream. I said hi to him, but I don't know if he saw it or not.
His
Me
channel,
and him have like no dialogue going on right now at all, so I don't expect him to know me from a whole random hole in the ground.
Yeah, I mean, I've reached out to him. That's why. So he's asked questions on Twitter. I've answered them, and he also did help me with a certain situation with a certain video that got certain use on YouTube that has since been taken care of. But he jumped in.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to go into that.
Exactly. But
we could go into that after. But yeah, I know what you're talking about.
He jumped in to help with that, and that should have been.
Oh, that was nice of him.
Yeah. So I talked to him, and he's in their Discord, and he's listening to feedback, and they're making adjustments. But he has a retro gaming channel of his own, like on Rumble. He's a gamer, so he understands a lot of what we're asking for, and that's kind of making it kind of cool. So
yeah, No, he really has been spearheading that. I've seen him interacting with Silver Fox and Lumpy and you. Like I said, I haven't really had any interaction with him, but I haven't been streaming a lot, and I don't think I've really been drawing a lot of attention. My stuff's kind of quietly going out there. It's there, you know.
Well, as you continue to stream, you'll get it too. It's crazy what's going on. I mean, and yeah, so new intro videos coming, new game stream windows, new game screens coming, and some other enhancements, and then I'm gonna start playing with the API and start seeing what I can draw out of that, and we're gonna start really hammering into this. I'm energized.
I know a few people got that working. I don't think Lumpy did it on his own. I think he had somebody from his community help him get it set up, but I know he's gotten a lot of that stuff working.
Yeah.
So you might hit him up and see how much of it he worked on and who he worked with on that too. That might be a good starting point.
He's got a nice setup.
Yeah, the guy who...
No, Lumpy has an excellent setup.
Yeah, he does.
See, but he's been streaming professionally for a while,
yeah.
So he knows his setup, right?
Yeah. Which is funny
because...
I've
been, so like him and Silver Fox, I have, they come on when I'm at work. So when I see them pop on, so I've been trying to go to Rumble more so I can see some of the, streamers there, and then I'll just have them on the side while I'm working.
Yeah, both of them have fun chats.
They do, yeah. They interact and with their chats, and chats are interacting with everybody. So,
yeah, absolutely. No,
they're
really good at what they do, and they're a good example of what's going on the platform as far as streamers go.
Yeah, and I'm excited that we're here, because I think if this does start to take off and more bigger streamers come in and more and that the thing about guys like Lumpy and Silver Fox is they're constantly getting people to expand. So like anytime Lumpy's very good about people coming into his chat, and I mean, as long as they don't just come in there and just start throwing down links and just start, self-promoting themselves and nothing else, he's all about having people, follow each other and kind of spirit. He's the first guy that's he's streamed from their studio.
Yeah, now Silver Fox is going there too.
Yeah, I heard.
He'll be the next one up to go there.
Yeah. I'm not flying
Big
down.
shout out to Sir Xpan for studio super chat. He says, "Anyone get a new Atari 2600 yet? I can't wait."
It hasn't come out yet.
I have opinions on that, but then I don't have strong nostalgia for Atari, so
I don't have any cartridges to collect, so
I don't either. I don't have any of that stuff, and there is a local secondhand shop that has a bunch of that stuff. So if I wanted it, I could probably go get it. I just don't know that I have the strong desire to go start collecting that and then pick one up. I just don't know that I want to do that. You know what I mean?
I mean, I guess it's kind of cool to get an updated 2600.
Oh, I don't have any.
Play all the old cartridges, right? I mean,
Yeah, absolutely. I don't. There's no shade for me on anybody who wants that, but my problem with that is, I feel like they're not trying to cultivate a new audience. They're just catering to their existing audience. Whereas like Nintendo and Xbox and PlayStation are constantly gaining new consumers.
Was it that what they're trying to do with the VCS in a way? I mean, it's
as far as I know, the VCS is done.
Are they?
I think this was their next move. Or are they doing another VCS?
No, but I thought
don't think so.
They're still supporting it as far as bringing new content on.
Oh, absolutely are.
Right?
They absolutely are. There's a ton of I will give them this. They are not abandoning it from a content perspective.
Yeah, they're bringing indie games.
Okay, I was about to say, because you can't get a hold of the hardware anymore. So, at least as far as I know, and unless you're getting some of the existing stock.
Well, and that could be too. But I think what they're hoping is the content starts to move, and then as the content moves, they get interested in building more hardware for the content. Atari's bigger issue at the moment is their content is still multi-platform, so there isn't.
I was about to say they were lacking exclusives on a large scale.
So there isn't a reason to get a VCS unless you are nostalgic, which I was.
Right.
Like a modern nostalgic.
Yeah.
Right. And while the VCS for me at 400 wasn't really for me, if I could have gotten one at like say 200,
So I waited.
I probably would have bid. I missed
waited
that one flash sale they did.
Yeah, that's when I got it, was the flash sale.
Yeah, if I could have
Like
gotten one
189
then,
or
I would have
something.
snagged one, but I tried to wait till I got home, and I missed my window. It was done.
Let me look and see if it's because I know they had jumped some pricing here and there. Yeah, honestly, it doesn't even look like. Hang on, there it is. Okay, they're showcasing on the front of their website the 2600 plus. So that tells you. It might tell you what you need to know at the moment. The Onyx base system is $199, and the all-in-one bundle, which is what I have, is currently $299. So it has come down in price.
That's a little bit better. That's
That is a
almost
little
on the
bit
price point that I would buy it on it. Not right now,
No,
because I'm saving up for some stuff, and then Christmas is coming up.
I
But that could be closer to an impulse buy for me,
for
frankly.
what it does. I would say if it dropped another $50, it would be a sweet spot for that, because remember, it's not just you get the classic joystick with the spinning top piece, which is really nice. You get the classic, the modern controller. You get the system, and the system. Like, I know if you've got a PC, and you emulate and run stuff on your PC, that's great. But if you hook this thing up to your TV and you run an instance of Windows 10 on it, you can run RetroArch, and I can do all my retro gaming from my couch. It has use.
This is what I emulate off of.
There you go. Okay, so
This is what I currently emulate
right,
off
your
of.
Steam Deck, right? So
Yep.
So there's value in the VCS for all of that. Plus, I felt like when the Atari 50th came out, that's where I had to have it. And I bought it.
Oh no,
there.
I totally get that because you wanted it on that console. That makes absolute sense.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that I did.
Did you see Arcade 1-Up's doing an arcade cabinet of that?
And it's $500, and that's
that could be a whole conversation in and of itself of shameless cash grabs.
yeah. I was like, you got to be kidding me. That's no, I had no interest in that at all.
Yeah, I was like, what little faith I had left in them just kind of went out the window when I saw that. I go,
Yeah.
This was released for consoles and the VCS and everything else, and you're going to slap it in a cabinet, and I'm just no, okay, not going to go there.
Hey, yeah. So we got just catching up real quick. 68 Camaro is up in the YouTube chat. Sean is up in YouTube. Eternal should die. Brother should die's in the YouTube chat. De Niro is in the YouTube chat. What's going on? Brother Scepter is in the Rumble chat. And Rab says, going back to the well, it's fine, covers their bases, but they need something strong for new blood.
And that's my point. If you want to go back to this 2600 plus, because you know it's going to sell, you know it will sell, and that'll get you some revenue to do something that you can use to get like younger gamers or a new generation to start adopting into Atari, and you can build Atari up that way again. Great, I'm all for that. But they've had so many flashbacks and all these May flashes and all these other things that I just don't think that's what they're going to do, right?
Right. And the other thing that they're selling is a PC mode USB stick, which
I'm not sure what that's for.
it's a plug and play. It's a plug and play drive, basically. It's like
Oh,
it's
okay.
like it's for loading up It's a 64 gig USB 3.2 drive with a custom Debian operating system, so that you could run emulation and stuff on it.
Okay.
So you can basically run it. So, but I have an external SSD drive that I run Windows 10 on, or Windows 11 at this point. It works great. So.
Yeah, my wife's got Windows 11. I don't know what to feel with that. I don't hate it, but then I'm kind of used to Mac OS, and it feels a little bit like that.
Right.
So I'm just not completely in love with it either.
Scepter says that one arcade up is a hard pass.
Yeah, that was kind of me too. However, we might want to get to something that, like Chris and Pete might actually
Yeah, I
want to
know.
talk
I was
about.
just about to say. Peter, how you doing?
No, I
How's
don't
your-
mind. I'm sure Sean is enjoying it. That's
Oh, I'm
definitely
sure.
fun stuff.
Oh yeah. So, in fact, he says, "I think the VCS is underrated hardware. I still enjoy so much." So, no worries,
he's-
King. King said his internet's buffering. So, Peter, how
I mean,
you
that's
doing?
all that matters, right? It doesn't matter what system you have. If you enjoy it, then it's
Yeah, if you're having a
good
good time
working
with it,
system.
that's all that matters, man.
See the Sir X fan, Peter?
Yeah, we got.
I already read that.
No,
Oh,
he
you read
he
that?
put a
Read it
set. No,
again.
Oh,
He
I'm
said-
sorry. I thought there was a new one.
there's a second one.
Oh, sorry. Sir X-Band, now that's $2 super chat. It says, remember, I have 150 cartridges for Atari 2600.
Well, there you go. That's a great fit then.
Yeah. So.
I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer because then you don't have to modify it. You don't have to worry about the whole hardware failing. You've got a new piece of hardware that's compatible with a modern TV and is built around the sensibility of a modern TV rather than take something that was designed for a CRT and try to make it work on a modern TV, which if you've done the digging that I've done into that, you know why that's a struggle.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, so Peter, I could ask you what you've been playing, but I know what you've been playing.
Yeah. It's a game that I'm currently playing. It's Starfield. Starfield. The game
All
that keeps on giving.
All Starfield all the time.
Yes.
Oh.
When we get to it, I have a Starfield story from today.
Okay.
The game is just fantastic. It's like
It really is.
Although yesterday I ran in a funny bug. I couldn't get into the lodge.
Hmm.
It was knocking on the door, but the door didn't want to open.
Nobody come and knock.
I
but you
thought
can't
maybe I
come
got
in.
rid of
Everybody
that.
left.
Sarah-
Nobody was home,
Sarah
man.
kicked you
I
out.
was afraid.
There was
Sarah
only one
kicked you out.
X-Man left. So funny about that. I tweeted. It's what I tweeted because I played it Sunday night. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna play it, and I'm like, you know what? I'll stream it because if I'm gonna sit here and play, I may as well throw a stream up. That's honestly how I feel these days. And I sat down at like 8:30, and at 1:30 in the morning, I'm like, I gotta stop.
Yeah.
I think I was there that night, actually.
You were.
I think I was there watching that
Yes.
night.
And it's just like, we finished the mission and Sarah's going, come on, let's go to the lodge. And I'm like, yeah, let's go. Wait a minute. What's that over there? And I just start darting off into the distance. And I can hear Sarah under
And
her
then she's
breath.
like, let's get married. I'm like, okay.
I haven't gotten that
go.
far yet. I have not gotten that far yet.
And Peter kept her around too long. That's why.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
No,
now
no.
she's nagging me. Like, now she's married. That's like, now she's needy. Like,
Right. I thought...
No.
I thought the funniest part was I had helped out somebody, and I'd helped out a Vanguard on a ship from the Spacers, and I was like, it's a Bethesda game. I wonder what would happen if I killed this guy and took his ship. So I'm like, what should I do, chat? Because I figured as long as I was playing, I'd let the chat kind of dictate what I was doing, and everybody was like, kill him, take his ship. I'm like, yeah, it's kind of immoral. Kill him, take his ship. So I tried to gun him down, and he was an NPC that you couldn't kill. So I kept knocking him down, and then like 2 seconds later, he'd get back up, dust himself off, and go, thanks for helping me out. We should go and have a beer sometime.
and off you went.
I know. I
Find
just
your
kept,
bar.
I'm serious, man. Hold on, because I have a prop for this. I literally had the Big Bang gun, which is this is a not so replica of. And I'm like, Die! Why won't you die? And it just kept plowing him. Like, remember that scene in RoboCop when Ed 209 lights that guy up in the boardroom?
That's a great scene. Still,
that's a great
I watched
scene.
that movie not that long ago.
Yes, that is, and in the Criterion version is even the uncensored version is even better. That is what I did to this guy, and he would literally go onto his hands and knees and go, and then would go, "Hey guys, thanks for helping me out. Let's go grab a beer."
Dude, what's even funnier is when I ended up early on getting the mission for the Crimson Fleet, and I don't know if you've done that yet or not.
I started it.
I
I
tried.
haven't joined any factions yet.
I
tried.
haven't either because I haven't been able to make up my mind which one I really want to stick with, right? Because I got options for 3 right now. There's Crimson Fleet, UC, and Freestar Rangers. And I can join either one of them, but I don't really know which one I want to join right now, so I just left it alone. But I got picked up because I had one contraband. Go ahead, Pete. Sorry.
No, I think I'm going to join the UC due to the simulators that you can run.
Yeah, I thought about doing that one too because somebody mentioned Colonial Marines, and I'm like, okay, that sounds fun.
But see, I thought about that. I kind of
There's
like.
something about being a space cowboy though, which would be Freestar.
But you can join multiple though.
Can you?
You can.
I can only join one.
You can join all of them.
Oh,
Some of them
okay.
might.
Like I ended up joining the Rangers, so I became a Ranger, and I got a pretty nice ship from it. Once you become a Ranger.
Okay.
So
by the by, Space Batman, you were right. That's a great ship.
Yeah.
And that wasn't
Space
anything.
Batman.
Yeah.
It's so awesome.
Oh yeah,
And it wasn't
doing that mission alone gives you the Batcave vibes and everything.
Yeah.
It does.
I had 2 things that were, one was kind of funny, one just kind of drove me crazy. When I first got pulled in to do the Crimson Fleet thing, the way everybody was talking to me was annoying me so bad. You know, I was that quick save guy. I'm like, okay, it's on. So I just started shooting everybody. And what was funny about it is because you were talking about Sarah and how, like, you know, nobody, you know, like, there were these unkillable NPCs. She's just sitting there complaining at me the whole time. I'm not going to help you kill these people.
Yes.
Well, everybody's trying to shoot her in the head. Like, she's literally just reeling from, like, bullet fire, just hitting her constantly. And I'm like, really? You have no self-preservation here? Like, what is going on?
Yeah, I don't really take her. I out of the Constellation group, I haven't taken all of them, but I like Barrett because he's funny and he says some funny stuff. You have him with you, but I don't like Sam Cole because then he starts getting, you know, like talking about his family, his daughter, his past relationship. Like, dude, I don't want to hear none of that shit. I try to play games here.
Well, somebody made a good comment that the vendors even overshare. Like, you'll start talking to a vendor,
Yeah.
and like before you know it, they're sharing the whole history, their family, their cousins, their nephews, and I'm like, dude, I just want to sell you some of my trash. Like,
And then it's like, oh yeah, and they start having you run errands for them.
yeah. Oh, that's the other one that drove me crazy today. The other day is because I did this one where I jumped into orbit because I was trying to navigate around somewhere, and I got hailed about this large ship that was in orbit. And I'm like, okay, so I'm finally going to see what this thing's about. So I did that whole quest line, and since they didn't have any currency, they gave me a bunch of items that vastly put me overweight, which almost had me uninstall the game because I spent, like, I kid you not, I think I spent an hour today trying to unload that gear. Because I had to go, the first couple vendors I went to wouldn't buy anything except for like foodstuffs or clothing. And I'm like, okay, this is awful. Nobody should only ever buy these items in a video game ever. That's just bad. And then when I finally got to like a kiosk, which was like, I want to say the trade agency, I forget the name of them, Trade Authority. They could only buy so much, and then I was still overweight.
Well, yeah, then you have to sleep or sit on a bench.
Yes.
48
Well,
hours.
I'm just standing there, moving around. So I went to another location. Just like, Oh my God, you guys are killing me. Like I can only move 40 feet before I have to just stand here. Or I have to wait, right? To reset it so I can get enough cash so I can do this. I'm like, this is a problem that feels like it shouldn't exist in this game.
Peter,
But it does.
Yeah.
So they don't want to.
Before-
It's like the ships. You can steal them, but then you got to register them, and then by the time after paying the register, you're making about $2,000-3,000 a ship you stole, which is worth like, one they say they're worth like 50,000, but then you can only sell it for 11,000.
Well, that's everything in the game, man. I was picking up weapons that said they were worth like 2,000 credits, and they sold for like 200.
Yeah. Now I've increased my commerce, so now I think I got it up to sell it for 20% or buy for 20% less and.
Yeah, that's something I hadn't dumped anything into.
So I've been leveling each of those skills. Because each skill has about 4 levels. So
yeah. Because I maxed out weightlifting, and I think I've almost done that with well, it's lock picking, but they call it security.
Yeah, I maxed that out too.
I really like those puzzles.
Some of those, man, like some of the master ones, almost give me a headache. I was telling Nicole, I'm like, you're gonna want like a pen and paper or notepad open, and she's like, what? I'm like, no, what you don't understand is there's like 12 pieces that you can slot, not all of them which you're going to use, in 4 different tumblers that you have to work through. So you need 8 successful out of 12. And if you use some of them in the wrong place, then you're still hosed. I'm like, you really have to take some time to map this out.
You know what I've noticed? What you can do is like you put one in place, but you don't lock it in place, but you rotate it so it fits.
Yeah,
then you go to the next one. You can do that too. And then in the end, you quickly toggle between those where you think
and I also
fit,
found
and then you actually commit to.
I also found another trick to make that faster too. As you get higher up, there's an auto slot.
Yeah.
That will automatically pick one that will work on that level and won't mess you up on previous levels.
Yeah.
So you can cut the number of ones you have to figure out in half that way once you get high enough, which makes it significantly faster.
But that depletes though. How does it feel? You have to put some in the correct order yourself.
It just auto fills it for you.
Yeah.
So we'll pull your picks.
Yeah, but I've done it before, and then basically you have a that auto fill dial has to fill up before you can use it.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
But how does it fill up? Just time?
I think so because I used mine. There was 6 of them, and then I saw a blue ring filling up. So I don't know how long it takes to fill up, but.
Yeah, I haven't watched that much of that mechanic. I used it on a master lock just to make it faster, because like advanced novice and like expert, those I can work through pretty quickly. It's the master ones that still kind of like I struggle with a little bit here and there. So if I can make those easier when I go into there, I'm okay with that. Because and sometimes even a master one, like you'll open it up and there'll be like shells that you already picked up, like 30 of them just laying on the ground, and you're like, why is this behind a master lock? I'm confused.
Right. And is it me, and I think I said this the other night too, is it me, or are the advanced locks easier than the novice locks?
I think that's just you, because I don't find the novice locks hard at all.
Really?
Yeah.
I had a hard
time
with
the notches.
I did, but sometimes you had things that notched in different places, and you had to. For whatever reason, I found the first set of advanced locks actually easier than the first set of novice locks I ran into.
I think that just depends on the roll you got when you got it, because one of the things I noticed is if you save before you start a lock and you reload, the lock's different.
I did not know that.
So you can get harder locks and easier locks when you reload.
Huh.
Well, yeah, and also the puzzle is not the same, even if it's the same
that's what
thing.
I mean. Sometimes the puzzles, even on like say advanced, it'll still be an advanced lock, but some of them I found are easier to pick than others.
Also, when before you board a ship that you're gonna hijack, you make a save. You go into the cargo and you find like, hey, there's contraband. Great. And then something happens, you have to reload. You get back in the ship, guess what? No contraband. That's pure random too.
Which kind of sucks because the contraband sells really good.
I
It
know.
does.
I wish
As long
I
as
had,
you know where to
careful.
sell it.
I wish
Yeah, you gotta
that
be
I had
careful.
not. I wish I had not pulled. I wish I had not picked up contraband before I got to a point to where I could jump the systems. Because I did that. I made so
Because
again.
they scan in almost every system.
Well, and I made this mistake of going, hey, before I leave this planet, I'm gonna go see what else is out there. And I picked up some contraband, and I hadn't gotten far enough in the story to where I could go to another system to sell it. So I kept getting blasted by the UC when I went back to New Atlantis, and I finally had to just I finally had to just pay them off, and
Good thing you had a save. You made a save point.
I
Yeah.
didn't.
No, you forgot.
I didn't. I was so close to starting the game over, and I was like, screw it. But then I was like, I'm level 7. Let me just, you know what? Lesson learned. I'm sure I'll find some other contraband on another planet somewhere. Lesson learned. And
Well, I even know better, and I still like mess up, and it's like, wait, what? I have contraband. I forgot to look at my inventory.
I have that ship that shields your contra or hides your contraband.
yeah, I got to go find.
And I still
where
got
you can-
arrested, and I couldn't figure out how it was. And then I had
Did
like
you not have it in the right
2
container?
tiny inhalers in my
Oh
pocket.
yeah, that
Oh,
happens.
no.
That was not worth anything, but
I
they
know.
were still there. And
You
it was
got-
like, what the heck?
I-
I didn't realize I picked those up. It's
Was
like,
it the Aurora? Because that's what happened to me. I had the Aurora. I was
That's
like, I
funny.
got rid of my contraband. I had that stupid Aurora drug.
yeah, could
and
be.
The aid. Yeah.
That's
It's like,
funny.
I'm like, what the? I thought that was a bug in the game. It's like, the heck?
It's like,
Goodness.
well, some of us already know, like, there's a place called the Wolf System. You go
Yeah.
straight
Yes.
to the den, right? And you sell there, and you don't have to worry about being scanned. But if you have a bounty and you go there, I remember going there one time, and they started automatically shooting at me for even trying to ask to arrest me to pay my fine. So
Shoot
it's like,
first.
hold
ask
on, let me
questions
go back
later.
to my last
Well, they
save.
probably wanted the bounty. So,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Good
the problem.
times.
That's the
Yeah,
problem I
some
was having with
funny
the Crimson Raiders. Like one of my side missions is go and join the Crimson Raiders.
Mhm,
So
that's one
I-
of mine as well.
So I
Yeah,
jumped
from
to this. I jumped to the system where the Crimson Raiders are, not realizing that before I got through the story, I might
Killed a
have
couple.
killed a couple. So
Yeah.
as soon as I jump into the system, they're like, "Get him!" And I don't even have a chance to talk to him. They're just like, "You're gonna die." And even with the Mantis, I can't. I was like, "All right, I got to jump out of here." I will.
Let's see, that's
I'm-
gonna be one of the problems I'm gonna struggle with, and why I didn't do that side mission, is because I'd seen a couple of videos, because Nicole's been watching videos on them a little bit here and there, and they're like, "Hey, before you do this, you might want to make sure that you're kind of good and done killing Crimson Fleet people, because early game you're killing them all the time.
Yeah.
So even if you successfully join them, if you go to another planet, that doesn't mean they're going to be friendly. They'll shoot you
No.
anyway. And so you end
Yeah.
up killing them, and then you have a bounty that you have to pay off before you can use those facilities again. Otherwise, you're going to get attacked.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's
So
one of the
I-
factions for joining them that you might want to hold off till you do a Game Plus, because you might have some.
Yeah.
That's what I read. You might have some in the when you join the Freedom Star and the UC, you might have some conflict of
Yeah,
interest. So you won't be
now
able to
Now I've
successfully
got.
do either
Well, now I've got this.
faction.
Now I got this defense pact I put together with some guys that it was a whole side activity.
Oh, I
Um,
did that one. I did that one the other day too.
Yeah.
That one was. I struggled with the space combat a lot on that one because I had the Frontier. I didn't have the Razor Leaf, and that was way harder.
Yeah. Unless you so I have seen videos though where people have actually modified the Frontier to make it a
Mhm.
really good ship.
I modified mine as much as I could, but I don't have enough points in it, and I don't have enough. I basically don't have enough points in anything to even get the challenges to start to do anything good with it. So most of the good parts are locked to me right now.
Ah.
Right. So I can't do anything like that to my ship. And I'm level 17. I just haven't done that. I haven't put any points into the spaceship, right? I've been trying to figure out everything on the ground. So a lot has been like weightlifting, and ballistics, and lasers, and lockpicking, and stuff like that, right?
Right.
Yeah, I'm level 32, and I just started doing the targeting and the pilot to increase that stuff. And I've been pretty successful on the space battles. And I had the better ship now, but I got into a battle with the 2 level 30s and the 14, I think. And I could take 2 of them out, but I can never get that third one. And so trying to go against 3 ships is pretty tough.
Yeah.
Depending on the level. So, yeah, I mean, it's, and I was telling Peter the other night when I was on, it's like, I don't know when. I think I want to keep unlocking skills before I finish the main story and go to, New Game Plus. That way I can take my skills with me over. So, I don't know.
Yeah,
Well,
I'll
my
do the
wife
same
had a
thing.
good point on this. She just wants to assign like the first point into a bunch of stuff. And the reason she wants to do that is because that gives you plenty of challenges that you can work on.
It does, yeah.
Right.
So that you can unlock the next ranks, and then you can kind of pick and choose what you want to go deeper into. But you have those open at least. And I'm like, you know what? That kind of makes a lot of sense.
It does make a lot
I
of
went
sense.
deep into a few things instead of making my pool shallow but wide. And maybe that's a detriment to me because it feels like the leveling is slow, because even when you get points, you can't necessarily assign them because you don't. Either you have to put it into something you're trying not to focus on, or you have a challenge to complete.
Yeah. Or you could just save it, but
Right.
but Sir X says 10 million people playing Starfield, which they Bethesda
They did
announced.
announce
I got
that,
10
yeah.
million hours in Starfield right now. That's
Yeah.
how I feel.
A lot of hours too.
I don't know, I've been loving Mortal Kombat almost as much. I've been really digging that game lately. The combat system. If you're into fighters, it's a really good game. I feel like
Yeah, I've
it's
been
probably
seeing a lot of good stuff on that.
it's probably the best one NetherRealm Studios has done ever, in my opinion. As far as the actual like combo system and stuff goes. And then when you start really figuring out the cameos and stuff, people have done 17, 18, 19, 20 hit combos, like 50% damage, like just ridiculous stuff. I'm nowhere near that. I'm doing like 3, maybe 400 damage if I'm lucky on it, just because I'm not figuring out when I need to execute certain things yet. I've also been doing invasion mode a lot, which makes it very challenging to learn how to like all that stuff together, because there's certain criterias and things like that that will keep you from being able to do it and play it the way the game's normally played. But that's not why you play invasion mode. You play invasion mode to unlock stuff and to goof off of the different mode. So it's fine. It's fun. It's all been fun, and I've had a good time with it. Like I said, it's all been heavily distracting. But I think we wanted to hit. Did we want to hit topic? Well, no, we're on one. Okay, I was about to say. I wasn't sure if we're going to talk about the leak or not. We're like an hour or so in. We haven't gone anywhere.
But this is what we do. I haven't even asked Chris how he's doing and what he's been playing.
I pretty much just said it. That's it. I got 10 million hours in Starfield, level 32.
Y'all.
What do you think I've been doing?
I can multitask. I've still been playing Jedi Survivor, and I made time for Karateka.
I can too. I
did some retro games the other night too. You hush now.
No,
I've been mixing it up.
No, you have. You have been.
I'm multitasking Starfield, so I'm good. Yeah.
Oh my lord.
It's more of a hyperfixation, but we'll give it to you anyway.
Right. All right. So we do have our weekly segment. Peter.
Our next topic, Ask NLG.
Ask NLG. So this is our weekly. We actually do have a question. Somebody
You didn't tell me it was
it.
going to be a pop quiz. This is not fair.
I love this. We have an actual question.
I've been slacking.
Yeah. So, as you guys all know, on our Locals channel, which if you're on Rumble, you click below. If you are a supporter on Locals, a member of the NLG family, I open up a weekly Ask NLG segment that opens up on Friday and closes on Monday night. And that also includes a live chat that anybody who is a member of our locals can go in and be part of and converse with other members and kind of just find a place outside of, outside of the toxicity of social media where you guys just want to talk. I open it up for the weekend for you guys. So, this week, our question comes from, and unfortunately, he works Tuesday nights, so he doesn't get a chance to catch us live, but he's been in a ton of chats. He's always around when he can be, and he will watch this later. So, this week, our question comes from our brother, ya boy Roy. Great supporter of the channel, and we appreciate that. So his question is, there are a lot of games coming out over the next month or two. Lies of P, which actually shadow dropped onto Game Pass. Mortal Kombat, which Nick has been playing. Assassin's Creed Mirage, Alan Wake 2, Spider-Man, and more. Which ones are on your radar, or do you have a backlog game in mind? So, Nick, knowing you have already been playing Mortal Kombat, and this is for the chat too. You guys in the chat can answer this question as well. Of these games, you're already playing Mortal Kombat. Are there any other of these games that are on your radar?
It says and more.
Generally terrible at Souls games. Spider-Man 2 I'm curious about, but the problem is I didn't finish Miles Morales and I didn't play the first one, and I kind of want to go through this before I play the next one. So I have a huge backlog there, but it's another one that's massively on my radar. Assassin's Creed hasn't been on my radar since Black Flag, and even that was a slight divergent that I regretted when I ran out of piracy to do and had to go be an assassin.
Okay.
I don't like being an assassin in Assassin's Creed, so it kind of kills the genre for me.
Yeah, then you're having issues.
Not sure how to respond to that, Nick.
Just want to be a Creed.
When I was
like
playing Black Flag, I was having a
driving.
great time. I had an island, I had a brothel, I was getting to hijack a bunch of like pirate ships and stuff, and I was having a good old time. And then they went, you have to chase this guy through town, and I'm like, this is really boring and really repetitive. And then you have to sneak behind this guy in this area where everybody can see you at the drop of a hat and listen to this conversation. I don't want to do that. We don't care. And then I'm sort of done with your game.
All right. That's okay. All right. All right. So
Assassin's Creed has never been me. It's just not. I'm glad it's there for people who love it.
Fair enough. Are there any other games that are not listed here that are coming out that you have an interest in?
A Sea of Stars came out recently. I think that one's going to be a really, really good one. There's a bunch of different indies and stuff that were announced on the Nintendo Direct, a lot of which I'm drawing a blank on, a couple strategy games. And then there's the Mario RPG and the Princess Peach one and all those coming out. But I don't think those are coming out, and a lot of those don't hit till next year. So a lot of my stuff is like first, second quarter next year. Outside of these are some of the remaining big hitters. I was really kind of hoping Tekken 8 would drop this year too, but I think that's first quarter next year.
That is first quarter. Okay. All right, Peter.
Couple of games. One of them being Avatar in December.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's what
Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 3. November. Let's see. Forza Motorsport, October. Assassin's Creed, also October. Good stuff. So yeah. And I'm still in Starfield, so I don't know. I don't know if I can start a new game.
Oh, like him.
You keep coming back to Starfield.
And that game is like, man, it's something.
Yes, it is.
At some point, I'm probably just going to finish the main story and move on to something else with it, because I'm not going to dump that much. I've got such a backlog and other things I want to play and spend time on. I just don't want to dump it into this one game. I will say this. It has been the most fun I've had with a Bethesda game so far.
And you
Now,
were highly
admittedly, that's a
skeptical.
low bar for me.
I know you were highly skeptical.
But I told you I was going to try
you
it anyway.
did. Yes, you did.
My wife almost rage quit it today. That was the other story I was going to tell you guys.
Uh-oh.
Because of the way you get quests in that game. The way you get quests in this game is kind of weird. And for those of you who haven't played it, everybody on the panel kind of has already experienced this. So it's not new. But the way you get the majority of your quests is there really aren't like quest indicators a lot of times. You'll have a conversation or somebody will say, hey, do you have a minute? And you'll go talk to them. Or somebody will say something in passing and it'll pop a quest automatically. Or you'll pick up different notes and stuff while you're running around. And if you happen to pay attention and read that and not just either drop it or sell it, that can spawn a quest. Well, that process had my wife almost just cussing. Like, I thought she was going to go full Gordon Ramsay on me for a minute. I'm like, wow, I've never seen you this lit. Like, I'm kind of proud of you. Like, we're having a moment. Because she was so pissed because she wants to be a completionist in the game. She's like, I don't know how to do that in this game, right? Because there's nothing that tells me when I've completed a planet. And there's really not, right? Like, you'll go off and you'll do some stuff and you'll come back and there might be some more stuff. You don't know.
Well, you scan the planet, right? And then you have to find so many fauna and flora and other stuff.
No, that's the survey. I'm talking like quest lines.
I don't know if you ever complete. I mean, there's so many different areas that you can go to.
I mean, your quest lines, you will see it in your quests.
Right, but how do you know where you get them? That was her quandary, right? Because I'll be walking through town and all of a sudden somebody will say something to the side that I won't even stop and listen to the conversation. All of a sudden it'll go bloop, and then there's a quest.
Yeah.
Well, but the thing is, it's not.
And
it's
I'm
more
like,
open than just a linear kind of thing.
And that was part of her problem. I'm like, you'll wander off somewhere else. I'm like, I know this might be. I thought she had played a Bethesda game before, but I'm like, that's kind of how these work, right? You're going from point A to point B, and unless you go squirrel and take a left, you'll miss an entire area, city, section that would give you like maybe 100 quests, right? Because you just didn't go there.
Yeah.
You don't have to do it. It's there, but you might miss it on 3 or 4 playthroughs, right? On playing the game because you just never went that direction or never went to this one spot or picked up this one item. And then all of a sudden you do. It's just how those games are designed. And this one's almost worse about it than many of the others because there's a lot more weird and organic ways that you end up getting quest lines.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
I can understand it being overwhelming for some people who are not used to. Because I remember when I thought I was doing a mission, and then I was like, it doesn't seem like it's loaded or what, I don't know. And then I finally snapped. I went to my menu, went to it, clicked on it. Okay, now I activated it. Now I can complete it. I'm like, so it's like you just got to remember, you're playing a Bethesda game, and
Yes.
if you do go to the menu, you can kind of organize, the main missions, side missions.
I mean, that's really what it is. It's really the main mission. That's the only one that's like,
Yeah, they do separate all that, and you just pick and choose that, activate it, and then focus on that.
Well, the menu system in this one compared even to like the Fallout ones feels a little kludgy to me. Like,
I mean, you can accidentally sell your digipics.
Yeah.
Everyone has
Mike
done
did
it
that.
probably.
Since I
once.
realized
Like,
you could do that and where they were at, I was glad to be there with that conversation with you and Mike, Pete, because that stopped me from doing that.
Yeah.
I have like 18 digipicks now. I haven't found.
I've got
I have like
35.
56 or something.
Yeah.
Like ridiculous.
I've got like
Hey,
35.
Just out of
pretty
curiosity, we still have this question to answer. We've moved back to Starface.
Real quick, I think Peter's done right on that.
Yeah, I think so.
I think so.
For me, of course, It's gonna be Starfield the rest of the year for me, but I will stop and check out Forza Motorsport. And I think Liza P, even though I'm not really into those games, but I'm intrigued with the Pinocchio and all that. That I'm gonna see what the story is about a little bit, and then and as far as backlog, I need to get back to Jedi Survivor. I really did enjoy that. So
See, I need to go through Fallen Order before I start Survivor. I see Survivor and it looks fun, but I never started Fallen Order, and I'm like, I don't know if this game's going to be for me, because the moment they said Souls-like, I'm like, okay, I don't want to put myself through that.
Well, you
Like,
can put it on story mode and just kind of enjoy the story, and then it's you don't have to be tortured, in those fights.
See, I always feel like I'm cheating when I do that, though. I know it's there for a reason, and I know it's there for people that don't want to punish themselves that way, but I feel like, I don't know.
Just
games like that kind of frustrating. The fact that those have gotten so super popular that everybody just wants to beat their head against a wall until their head cracks open is just kind of beyond me lately. Like, it's just kind of bizarre. There's very few of those I can do in a row just because I just don't have the temperament to do that many of them in a row.
Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me. There's just too many games. But you never know.
It's a great year. It's been an amazing
This
year
is
for
a-
gaming.
they've
We've
been
been playing for a
great
couple
games,
years
guys.
previously, but there was nothing.
Yeah.
And this year's been amazing.
Yeah, and if you like Game Pass, man, Game Pass is just loaded.
Yeah, it really is.
So it does make it easy for you to, just load it up or check it out in the cloud and, go from there.
So for me, Mortal Kombat's on the list. Assassin's Creed it is on the list. It might be a little farther back, but I like that it's going back to the original idea of Mortal Kombat, which I liked a lot. Which is what got me.
Are you talking
away.
Assassin's Creed or Mortal Kombat? Because you said Assassin's Creed, then you said Origins of Mortal Kombat, so I'm confused.
No, the origins of Assassin's Creed.
Okay.
What Assassin's Creed used to be before 4. I think it sounded like Mortal Kombat, but no. Like before 3. 3 ruined it for me. I never played 4, even though everybody said it was great. And then I just couldn't get into it until Origins, which I did like. But I never really had that fire for the Assassin's Creed franchise like I used to. And Mirage looks like it's getting back to that original formula that might suck me in. Alan Wake 2, I'm a sucker for Alan Wake. I know I loved Alan Wake 1. It's probably going to be a backlog game for me, but it's there. Spider-Man 2 is a no-brainer for me. I really enjoyed Spider-Man. I usually enjoy all the Spider-Man games. Even though I did not play Miles Morales, I just didn't. It wasn't a mainline Spider-Man game for me. This is a mainline Spider-Man, so I'm down for it.
But
I
now
feel like
that-
that's how I need to approach it too. Play the Spider-Man 1, then play 2, and then go back to Miles Morales because it's kind of a side story.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
least I
then Miles
think-
Morales is in this one, so
He is in this one predominantly.
He is.
Absolutely.
Wouldn't you want to play
I don't know if he's
Miles just to see maybe you don't miss anything that might have?
that's a good
I
point.
don't know. I mean,
I don't know if he's predominant though. I think
I
Spider-Man
bet you could go back.
My
and forth.
understanding is you can flip back and forth of them anytime
Yeah.
you want to.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in that case I would just play as Spider-Man.
Well, I mean, you had that choice, but
Yeah.
I was about to say, I don't know that that's going to always be an option. You know how these games work, man.
Well, the first Spider-Man was the same way. You had to play as Miles Morales a couple times.
yeah, and then
Yeah.
Mary Jane.
Right.
A couple, yeah.
Haha, Bryce, how about that 32X Spider-Man?
I saw that
All
too.
right.
I saw
All
that pop.
All right. Fair. Touche, Brian. Touche. Every game except Web of Fire. So, which I'm only holding on to because it's worth $1,500.
Hey, the Super Nintendo Spider-Man and the X-Men
Genesis-
Arcade's Revenge is a terrible game too.
The Genesis Spider-Man was really good. Spider-Man, believe it or not, Spider-Man versus Kingpin on Sega CD was pretty good. The Dreamcast Spider-Man and then, Xbox, PlayStation Spider-Man games were good. You know what? The Amazing Spider-Man from Beanox was not great. I don't know what to say.
They've had more hits than misses with the Spider-Man
Yes, they
series.
have.
And
They
Insomniac has done honestly, if you took Insomniac away from PlayStation, they wouldn't have anything left almost. Like so many of their main franchises and their best titles come out of Insomniac. Like it's ridiculous.
Lately, yeah.
Yeah.
And Santa Monica Studios is another one, right? Those are their two main studios that are really like knocking everything out of the park for them. Anytime they touch anything, it pretty much comes out gold.
Well, I mean,
Yep.
Naughty Dog, they
Yeah, Naughty Dog, but I haven't seen anything from Naughty Dog in a little while. Outside
nothing
of
new
Last of Us
lately.
being remastered 80 million times.
and then
I
since
don't-
Uncharted
yeah.
4, but they've been successful as far as bringing it over to the movie side.
Yeah.
But,
This is true.
so it's kind of helped Sony on that.
No, so those are the games. Forza Motorsport is obviously on my radar. I'm going to play that. And then there's some other games we're going to talk about in a few minutes that might go up on my radar later on. So, Bax says, but do you finally get to play as Spider Pig in this one? Wrong game.
Yeah.
No.
You know what? I'd be okay playing Spider
Big Block.
That might
Big-
actually be a lot
yes.
of fun.
Big Block, brother Big Block's in the house. He says, my son just played the first one in Miles Morales. He really liked Miles Morales, said it was shorter but good story. You know what? If I can get it on sale, I would certainly. I'm sure I can get it
And that
cheap.
might be
That's-
that might
yeah,
be
it's
one
been
that
on
I
so
try
many,
to stream.
many
Yeah,
times.
I'll have to grab it. When it comes
Yeah.
to Game Pass, I'll.
See, I've had Miles Morales since I got my PlayStation, and I started streaming.
Miles Morales, the Game Pass?
Yeah. Well, and when I tried to stream it, everybody who was watching it hated it.
Yeah,
They were like, "Oh, I don't want to see this," and I'm like, "All right, I'll just play this offline, I guess."
yeah.
And then I got distracted playing other things, and I just never got back to it. It wasn't anything wrong with the game; I was enjoying it, but it was the same way with like Super Mario Sunshine. Like I put that one down because I was trying to play it because it was one of the ones on the collection I hadn't beaten or even played, and nobody wanted to see it. Like everyone was just like, "Oh my god, this is such trash," and I'm like, "Oh my god." Like I'm getting literal hate just towards the game in my chat for what I'm trying to play here. What the heck?
Maybe it wasn't a game, it was just a gameplay.
Maybe. I mean, I didn't think I was doing any worse than Miles Morales than anybody else who just picked up the game and started playing it. But, you never know.
Yeah.
Never know. All right, so that is the. Let's see, anybody else in the chat? Nate said Avatar, of course. Brother Brian says Sea of Stars. Marceau was talking about Starfield. And Big Block says everyone whipping out their Digipick count. He has 60. Spider Pig and Spider Gwen were in Into the Spider-Verse, so why not in Spider-Man 2? Because they're not connected. I don't believe they're connected.
I don't think those two universes are connected right
Yeah.
now.
No. It would be cool, a Spider-Verse game, though.
It
Oh,
would
I think
be.
it'd be
That
great to
would
do
be
like a
great.
Spider-Verse series.
I
That'd
know,
be fantastic.
yeah.
Because then you could have like Spider-Man 2099 and a bunch of
Mm-hmm.
others in there. I mean, you could do it. It would be kind of like a Shattered Dimensions, only a little bit less grindy.
Yes, very much so. All right, so that is this week's Ask NLG. Again, if you want to get a question in for us, could be a question about us, about the show, anything we're not talking about, like questions like this.
Be right back.
Head on over to our locals and sign up for our locals local supporter. And on Fridays through Mondays, you could ask that too. So. By the way, we have 2 people that actually subscribe to this channel. I didn't think about it at first, but somebody had convinced me that if we're worth it, we should ask. So we do have a subscribe button down there. It's a little more than our locals, but it does help the channel out. And if we get more people that start to subscribe to us, I'm going to start putting up some subscriber emojis and some other perks. And if I could figure out, I know that they're working on combining or at least integrating Locals and Rumble a little bit more because they're owned by the same people.
I heard that from Lumpy too, but I don't know where they're at with that.
If they could get it to where if you subscribe to the Rumble channel, you're also a subscriber on Locals, that might be a great way to go. So, all right. Let's see. And once again, welcome to everybody watching. There's 31 people watching. If you're not in this chat, come on in, say hi. If you're just lurking and having fun, thanks for listening. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. Hopefully you hit that follow button. Hopefully you hit that thumbs up button. We are one away from 150 followers. So which is crazy because we were just at 100. So if we get one more person to hit that follow button, that would be awesome. All right, let's get to, well, Chris left just in time.
Oh, just
I know.
I don't think Chris likes these particular topics anyway because they tend to go a little bit negative, and he doesn't want to deal with that.
I know. Well, I don't know that this is gonna be that negative.
Oh,
It depends on it depends on your perspective on this. I actually
it's something I found out about on Twitter. Usually that's not positive.
Well, all right.
It all depends if Nick is going to be negative or not.
Yeah.
I don't have any. I don't. As far as I care, if they want to go out and buy studios, go buy studios. I don't care.
Is he going to be? Is he
I'm
going
all
to be?
for it if they put those games in Game Pass.
Yeah, exactly.
Then that's going to be good for me.
The only reason I really care about the ABK thing, I don't care about it. Any other could give a rat's behind if they bought Activision or not, except Game Pass. That's all I care about. It's all I care about. So, but this is all right. However, Peter, let's get to it.
All right. Our next topic. The Xbox League heard round the world.
Yeah. By the way, Panda Sub, stop what you're doing. Epic news. Life-changing news. He now has
I saw that.
69 followers on Rumble.
You know, he's starting to climb up there pretty quick. And if I streamed more, it would probably work better. But
well, and some of it too is just getting to it. Like I think I was going from just kind of streaming whenever to really streaming on a regular schedule because I really like what's going on. And I really like the platform. And I know it's got, and you know, we talk about it. I know it's got its bugs and things it needs to work on, but damn, and the people around me, everybody here is so positive and fun. And all of a sudden, I'm like, well, I want to stream more. So here we are. So I stream every other Monday when I'm not on your channel. Tuesday nights, which is the show here. Thursdays, Fridays, and now I'm even picking up a weekend day. So like I did that 4-hour Starfield. In fact, I'm pretty sure I streamed Saturday and Sunday this past week. So I'm into it. It's just a thing. Plus it's getting me gaming more. Plus, which also makes me very happy. It kind of forced me to bring back, and I do not say this in a negative way, of course, because I love it. Kind of forced me to bring back Friday Night with Peter and Mike. So Peter and Mike, so we get to multiplayer. We get to hang out again in multiplayer, and then anybody else who wants to play with us is always welcome. But it's another night that Peter and I can get down and get some gaming in. So
that's one of the things I've been wanting to set up, is to set up a night to try to get another 6-player Turtles going in, because that DLC dropped and I've still not touched it.
Oh, right. I have to get the Tyrrell's DLC. We got to play through that. There's so much. And we still have to, Peter and I still have to finish Remnant. And, I mean, there's just all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
So, so Panda Sub, who I've got up on the screen here because I'm sorry, we have to ruin it for him. You guys got to follow this guy. And I'm going to say this in two ways because I know I've been proclaiming how great his streams look and how stuff, but Panda's a good guy and a fantastic personality. And if you actually get into his streams, he's fucking fun. And that is,
his streams are all about participation.
Yes.
You get as much out of it as you put in.
yes.
So if you participate, you're going to have a really good time. If you're just lurking, maybe not so much. So get involved is my recommendation.
My brother from another mother up in the house. 108 Dragons TV says, my goddamn brothers. No,
You heard the word Game Pass.
Game
Pass.
Lemon.
What's up,
Brother
Lemon?
Lemon.
Good to see you, man.
Brother Lemon in the house. My boy right there. And part of the Dragon's Den. I'm gonna get that soundboarded so we could just play it once in a while, just to, and then we'll pay him a royalty for it. So, but anyway,
Perhaps like if anyone has to follow, I'll ditch you, buddy. We got this.
Exactly.
Just to keep Panda at 69.
just to keep Panda at 69. All right, let me zoom in on this. Dun dun dun. Oh my goodness. Well, they're true kind words. And I'm sorry, but you have helped me a great deal with my production value. You are the reason that you are one of the inspirations to why I have started to stream more. There's a lot of great guys that I've met on Rumble, but you coming over to Rumble, and by the way, dude, literally, you talk about, we've talked about we're kind of going dormant on January 1st on YouTube. Yeah, have you been to his channel on YouTube? Panda took it to
he kind of went scorched earth on it.
Panda went to the whole nother level. He gone. There ain't no videos. There ain't no live, no playlists. He's gone. Come to Rumble. I mean, at least when we're done, I'm going to leave what's there so that people could go back and see old videos of the shows. If they want to see old NLG shows, like when Chris and Peter first joined us, we did have some great interviews there with Greg Thomas, with Edu Nuziana, Tommy Tallarico, Mike Micah, Phil Adam. We've had some great...
a lot of history there.
A lot of history there. So I'm not getting rid of our history. It's just going to be an archive. Panda said, F it. So I give him credit. And he did it. He was like, you know what? I'm done. So at least we're giving everybody time. So 108 said he's on Rumble. Hold on. Is 108 Dragons on Rumble? Because if he's on Rumble, he's getting followed.
Where is he
absolutely.
on Rumble?
Hold on. There he is. Hold the phone. We got a 108 Dragons TV on Rumble, and now he is being followed. Get on that.
Okay, I got that taken care of too.
Get on that, my man. Yes. The Dragons
I didn't know he was
Den.
on here.
Yes, Restream. I want Restream to add him. I will help you with that. Dude, you don't need Restream. If you notice, we're dual streaming. I'm not using Restream. I'm using an add-on to OBS. I will show you how, and you won't need Restream. I will show you how. I'll show you how to combine the chats like we got on the side. My brother, I've got you covered. But yes, hell yes. Sub to this man. Follow this man's channel. Period. End of story.
Let's say I already took care of that.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was on here. That's the reason
I
hadn't done
didn't
it before.
either. So that makes me happy. We are bringing the gaming to Rumble, my boys. We are bringing the gaming to Rumble. All right. So we actually are supposed to talk about this. Thanks, Panda, for
That's what I say.
totally
Let's do this
disrailing.
leak thing. Let's
Yeah,
lift the bandage
let's
off
do
on
it.
this
Yes.
thing and get this thing done.
And by the way, Marceau said $5 a month for the subscription is all right. He says the same default as the default on Twitch. So, Rick Roselia said to me, he said, "Why are you afraid to ask for it?" And I said, "Because we don't stream 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's hard for me to ask for $5 a month from people." He said, "Why?" I said, "Do you do good content?" I said, "I think we do." He said, "Where does the money?" He said, "Where does the money go?" He said, "It all goes back into the channel. We buy games to stream. We buy, everything we do goes back into the channel, whether it's graphics, our equipment." What he said, then then he asked me again. He said, "Why are you afraid to ask for it?" And I'm like, I don't have a good answer. So
I've never thought about asking for it myself because I feel like I have a good enough paying job that I should be able to kind of focus on my own.
No, I agree with that too.
For me, I don't have a very big following either, and I haven't started streaming a lot. I am putting a lot of content up here.
Oh.
But
and Pudge said,
it's debatable on whether or not that's the content that people are really looking for on the platform too.
Well, and we have two subscribers now. We have Rick Roselia from Rumble. He was the first one, and then Lumpy. And I'm like, "Dude, why did you do that?" He says, "Because I love what you do." And that's this is, if you like this show and you want to support us, I would love for you to do it on Locals. But if you want to hit that subscribe button, I'm telling you, if we start getting subscribers, Peter, Chris, I will start. I guarantee you, I will make it worth people's while. Because if they're gonna invest, damn it, Nick.
What? I'm trying to get the ball rolling. Shush, let me do things.
You got a new Rumbler,
Oh,
the GeekStorian.
Let me do things.
Who is this guy? Thank you.
I don't know.
Nobody. Literally.
Not
even here.
Love you, Nick. Seriously, man, love you.
Thank you, Nick.
Love you.
We appreciate it.
No, we really, that. Damn it.
Repo says, "I love what you do on YouTube."
Well, you're gonna love it for a short time. Yeah, how could you? Because none of my game streams are on YouTube. You can't.
He watches the old stuff.
He watches the old. Yeah. What is old is new again?
Retro over time.
Yeah, he's
Right.
classic. Yeah.
What is old is new again. So now I have to get the API working because that stuff will start showing. Now type something in the chat, Nick.
Who, me? Oh.
Yeah, type something in the chat.
It went red.
Whoa,
Yep.
That's what it's supposed to do.
Yeah. So your stuff shows up differently now. So.
Yeah. That's what I thought that was automatic with Rumble when you did that.
Yes, it does. So now it shows up in that nice little red. So Lemon, honestly, there's I know, it says Mike do more both eyes, but there are multiple reasons, and you know some of those reasons why I'm apt to leave YouTube. It's not just Rumble is just the place we went, but there's a lot of reasons why I don't want to be there anymore. And you know some of those reasons in all seriousness. Chris and Peter know those reasons too. Nick, you know those reasons, to be quite honest.
I know. Some of those I've had, but I kind of worked through those on my own.
Yeah.
I mean,
know.
it took building and bringing a new channel, but
Yeah. Well, yeah. So, but I also don't want to give YouTube the revenue or the numbers. Anyway, I'm sorry. This is what happens when I get off on a tangent. Okay, Xbox. So, a funny thing happened on the way to court today.
I don't even like how this started out. Let's go.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, what are we going to talk about today? And then,
Yeah. So
I know. I
Phil-
saw that pop this morning and go, oh wow, and I'm going to be on NLG. This could go interesting.
Yeah. Dude's about to buy a grill for his yard. Dude, if you get a griddle, tell me, Lemon. If you get a griddle, let me know. Sir X-Man won't like it, but I've got you. I imagine that Phil Spencer and Tokyo Game Show I think is this week. Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond get off the plane. I
don't think it was on his bingo card.
Yeah, and probably someone came up to him. You remember that scene? Now, I'm not going to use that scene because that's inappropriate. But somebody ran up to him, like in Karateka when the dude ran up to the bad guy and said, "Hey, good guy's here." That's what happened. Somebody ran up to Phil and said, "You might want to turn on the TV."
Hey, quickly back to Karateka. I got killed by that gate. It fell on my head and I died.
Yes, it takes a while.
Okay, it's kind of awesome that can happen.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have to fake the gate out.
Yeah.
Yes.
Apparently.
You have to.
But I was dead, so
Yes,
like, okay, next time.
Yes.
I didn't know that the ultimate enemy in a game was going to be a gate, but you know.
Oh, it's like that. Okay. I've been swatting at a bird, and I'm like, oh, there's the gate. Yeah, I beat it. I'm like, wow. I'm like, oh, dirty.
Dun 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 dun.
Yeah. Sorry. Okay. Sidetracked us a little.
No, it's okay.
That's
goodness.
this whole show. Just call it Sidetrack the show.
Yeah. It's like a side quest in Starfield, It's like, oh, look over there.
And we've brought it.
Popping up.
And we've brought it back to.
I knew, everything is, like everything's like 7 steps from Kevin Bacon. Everything's 7 steps from Starfield here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Max says the next boss is a moving goalpost.
But okay, we were at Phil Spencer is getting out of the plane.
Yes, getting out of plane, and then this happened. Somehow, somebody on a forum, for whatever reason, was looking at the court case with the FTC and came across some confidential documents that
But it was a new documents, right? They had access to.
It was a link.
Yeah,
right?
it was some. Yeah, it was a link to documents that were uploaded to the court server that were not protected, and
the first page was redacted, but it had attachments in it.
It had attachments that weren't,
and those were just is what they were, attachments, and that's where the treasure trove was.
The roadmap to 2030.
Yeah. Somebody probably looked in, using Microsoft Edge at a PDF and didn't see the attachments because you could only see those if you used Adobe.
Uh-huh.
So, is it redacted? Yes, it is.
Uh-huh. And
So
by
we'll
the
probably
way,
get an Edge update really soon for PDF viewing that will show you that you have attachments.
I wonder who's going to be held responsible for that.
Someone at Microsoft's getting fired because
Whether,
Microsoft did and it was smart. They did admit that it was them that did it. That because everybody was starting to say, "Oh, the FTC must have." No.
Yeah, there was a lot of conspiracy theories about that.
Yeah, they would have lynched
Lena
Khan
Khan
already
what?
before
Yeah.
all the facts.
But Phil, he didn't respond right away either, right? So I imagine they had to. Okay, let's take a look at this. Let's get with our PR. Let's get with our legal team. All right, what are we gonna do?
Right.
What are we gonna say?
Well, I mean, that's a smart way to respond to it, right?
Yeah.
You don't fire from the hip with that. You talk to the appropriate people. You come up with you figure out what happened first, and then you figure out how to phrase it to the public.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then you make one public announcement.
And what he said, wrong thing. Hang on.
Yeah, you want to pull that up? And I like what he said. So.
I like what he said too. I think what he said was the right thing to say. Let me pull up this tweet.
And it was a lot of stuff because during the day, I was popping on there looking and then of course, in the Wands, their DM on Discord, I was like, you start seeing stuff pop up and it's like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah. So
I wonder how much is their roadmap is going to be forcibly changed now, because how much of that was actual just theorizing of what they would like to do, and how much of that is actual process, right?
Well,
Yeah.
that need to be
So like
changed.
what he says here in the last line, we will share the real plans when we are ready.
Well,
So
and
like you said, we don't know, some of those are stuff that R&D, like theory, this, that. We don't know what the final, product would be.
Well, I mean, if you're looking at like
Refresh
all the
and
way
all
out to 2030, most initial plans don't make it all the way out
Yeah,
that far.
they could change at some point.
Yeah, they have
Yeah.
to change because
Well-
certain things work, certain things don't work. The landscape changes, etc.
Yeah.
a lot
I
of
mean,
these.
it also had that what's it called? That's stream box in there, wwhatever I forgot
Yeah.
what they call it.
So I got.
That
I
one has
got.
been shelved, so it's like
Yeah, I got picks. What the other thing about this too is these were things that they did in 2020, right? So for example, and this was interesting. Remember how we all thought that instead of ABK, that Microsoft should have gone after Warner Brothers?
yeah.
They were in talk, or they were at least in discussions internally about Warner Brothers. So they wanted Nintendo.
No doubt.
They wanted Nintendo. And
Well, they've wanted Nintendo ever since
Since
the
day
OG.
one.
yes,
Yeah, I was about
Yeah.
to say that is not everybody trying to say that's news. That is not news.
Yeah, but
No,
is,
it's not.
Is that like recent? Like Phil wanted Nintendo recent?
Yes,
Or
this
is that
is-
like
this
going
is-
back to the
no. This is Phil in 2020.
just talking?
Yeah, Takashi, I totally agree that Nintendo is the prime asset for
course.
us in gaming, and today gaming is what. And he even says, at some point getting Nintendo would be a career moment. Yes, it
Well,
would.
of course.
Yeah.
And I honestly believe a good
Well-
move for both companies. It's just taking a long time for Nintendo to see that their future exists off of their own hardware. A long time, smiley face.
Yeah.
Well, and that does a couple things for Xbox in particular, right? One, they've got a lot of good IPs, and it expands their audience base to a younger audience base. Because Xbox, while they have some kid-friendly titles, it's nowhere near what Nintendo will do.
Oh,
And
no,
they've
not at
also
all.
been courting Nintendo for a long time because they've been playing nice with Minecraft and this, that, and the other, and getting things onto Nintendo's platform with as minimal muss and fuss as can be done, right?
Right.
To allow them to dip into that, whereas they haven't really been doing that with Sony. So they've been trying to build that bridge for a long time. Anybody who didn't see that olive branch being there, trying to build that bridge between those two
Yeah.
companies,
Oh, absolutely.
wasn't paying attention, quite
Yeah.
frankly.
Oh yeah. So here is here's some of the things they talked about. Some of the stuff on these slides. The generations, and their next generation was looking like calendar year 2028 with a cloud hybrid games and immersive game and app platform. So anybody
no
who
doubt. That's,
yeah. I saw a lot of hand wringing on this. People have to understand digital is where everybody's going. You may not like it, and I know there's still those people that if this is where they're going, I'm out. No, you're not, because eventually everybody's going this way. And while it didn't take off, sadly, Crackdown 3 kind of showed that you can do it. I wish
That got
it was,
executed kind of poorly, though. I mean,
It
not the
did.
game itself, but that facet.
yes, and I agree, but and part of it was because mid development, David, not David Perry, David, the hell was his name that ran the that ran that cloud thing.
Yeah. And then he ended up going to the other company, right?
Yeah, he got bought by Epic. They got bought by Epic.
Epic, yeah.
So
yeah.
so in the middle of development, Epic.
Whoa!
Oh.
Master System Marcel is now a monthly supporter.
Marceau.
Thank you, Marcel.
Oh my God. You guys are humbling us.
Ja.
For-
Bedankt, Marcel. Bedankt.
More Nintendo
And,
Red chat. I wish it showed up on the left-hand side. That's why I'm gonna be. You know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna work on the API so that we can get that kind of chat stuff going on the sides. God, you guys are breaking my concentration with this. Love, dude.
We were talking about Crackdown 3 and
Thank
the guy
you.
who was functioning on the cloud.
Thank you.
I got you.
Nick. Thank you, Nick.
I got you.
You guys don't understand what this kind of stuff does to me emotionally.
I do.
Yeah,
I
know
think I
you
did
do.
it.
Oh, I love you guys. Crackdown 3 had that issue where the engine that they were working on got sold to Epic in the middle of development. And so Sumo Digital had to take over to do pieces of the game. It splintered off, and I don't think that was the original plan. And so, but I guess what I'm saying is that for what it was, I had a great time with it. I wish more people had tried it because it really was a lot of fun.
It was fun. The campaign.
It's like Redfall.
No,
I never ended up finishing Crackdown 3. I had it, and I got a ways through it, and I was trying to play it with a buddy, and it was spotty trying to play it together. Like, it was sketchy.
I didn't mean the
Every time we
campaign.
tried
I
to
meant
play
the
it.
the
I know me and Mike
multiplayer.
had a good time.
Oh,
playing
we
together.
did, and I believe you and I finished it. You and I
We
beat
did,
that
yeah.
game.
Yeah.
But I meant the multiplayer because the multiplayer, what the multiplayer did was it had the physics engine was built off the cloud, and it was procedural. So, it was the actual multiplayer piece of it was built on the cloud, and it worked. It was clunky a little bit, but it worked, and I think it showed where you could go with that. And that's what, if people don't understand that this is where the more Nintendo Red, how do I unsub? If more people do that, and more people, if more people understand that's where the industry is going, then I think it'll get easier for them to actually embrace it.
Well, here's the thing. People need to see something that really kind of wows them with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Crackdown could have been that, but it didn't really get executed the way it needed to really get people to open their eyes and go, oh, wow, this is what shared computing can do.
I agree.
For my video game, right? We already know what it can do in industry, right? Anybody who works in IT is doing some form of cloud computing, virtualization, etc., right? It's just part of daily business now. Like, nobody functions without it. So, but it's not really been worked into video games yet, right? It's just not an architecture that's been brought to bear. And there's things you could do with it, with like a lot of processing and transfer of data and positioning of people and just assets and everything else like that in a game that people aren't seeing because nobody's really knuckled down and figured out how to execute it properly. Microsoft is in the perfect position, given their lead in the market, to start doing that, right?
I think they were, I always said they were 10 years too early, right? Because they tried a piece of this in 2013 and everybody rebelled against it, right? They tried to go digital and everybody went berserk, so they had to pull back their plans. But they really were ahead of their time. I always say I wish they would have just stuck their chest out and stuck with the plan, because now everybody's following them into that plan that they had in 2013. They flinched because the market made them flinch, and that's a shame. So this is what they're looking at: cohesive hybrid compute, AI, and I don't know what ML is, enablement, and a creator platform that allows you to harness that. I don't think there's anything wrong with this. And I don't think they need to change this because it leaked. Everybody knows this is where the industry is going. AI, this is where everybody's going. So I don't think this hurts them for people to know it. And this is just more about what that is. Let me see if I can get to some of the bigger
Okay,
themes.
Rab already answered it. ML is machine learning.
Thank you. So, Rab, and that's why I'm glad Rab's in the chat, because
It's one of those buzzwords. AI, I knew.
Yeah.
Machine, ML, I probably should have guessed
Yeah, I
that, but I
remember
didn't.
hearing it. I forgot.
De Niro said it too. Machine learning. Thank you, brother De Niro. So here's some of this accessibility that they talk about. All the things that can get touched by Game Pass, right? Nothing here is not much of this is really where it got interesting was where they started talking about the next gen refresh.
Yeah.
And that's what was kind of okay. So they're not talking about and here's this too. The Game Pass subscribers. They reached 10 million subscribers on Game Pass faster. Spotify, Hulu, Netflix, and only Disney looks like only Disney beat them.
Yeah, but Disney's seeing a lot of people leave now too.
Well, yeah, there's that.
Which is an advantage to them not having.
Yeah.
They're not having the attrition that a lot of these services are having. At least not yet, anyway. But they're also a bit of a newer service than most of these others.
Yeah.
Even compared to Disney Plus, I think they're a little bit newer than Disney Plus.
Yes, absolutely.
Not by much, but
Not by
little.
much. So I did, so they're growing, and this is where they feel the industry is going. I wanted to see if I can find what
Scepter says they should literally just sell a router. They keep releasing air purifiers.
That's about what this is. So let me see if I can find.
They do look a little bit like air purifiers, but I gotta admit though, I mean, that hardware is pretty stable, and it's really stable, and it's very compact. I mean, the PS5 is pushing the same thing, but it's like twice the size.
Yeah.
So it's kind of an really impressive feat of engineering when you start looking at the Axe.
Oh yeah.
So I guess once they took out the disk drive, then that's why they can do the cylinder for the rest of the hardware in there. Like it works.
Yes.
And it's kind of weird to have a cylinder deal, but
It does.
But with the Xbox revealed that their cylinder Xbox, they can no longer be called Xbox. Moving forward, they shall be called X Circle or X Tube.
X2.
Pretty sure
What are
one
you
of
gonna do
those is
with
a
your
dirty
wrap,
site.
Yeah, well, the wrap would wrap around. It would be a circular wrap. It'd be like wrapping.
I know, and I thought that too. I was like, man, we're just getting wraps. I gotta get mine here soon, and now I gotta get a round wrap now.
Now you gotta get a round wrap. So,
See, what they need to do now is if they're going to go with a circle thing, just make it an orb and put a big X in it, and then when you put it up, it just has the X light up like the original Xbox logo. Just make it that.
I would have loved for that to be the actual console.
That could happen at some point, especially being all digital console.
Yeah, I mean, you're still going to have like a way to vent and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
I mean, you could probably do it with that style if you wanted
They
to.
could do a smaller version of it,
Yeah.
So this is their path to 2030, right? A new Xbox controller. And check this out: the new Xbox controller is the only thing you'll need to play on every device. This low barrier to entry will fuel subscriber growth, right? Personalization is customization, which is one of the things that they're talking about. I believe that they announced or are about to announce at TGS that the actual consoles themselves will be customizable in the lab, which would be cool.
That would be cool because I've been sitting there playing with this thing today
to
do another show off.
Oh, wow.
This is my custom
Nice.
Elite 2 that I bought.
I would love
with, like, the paddles
I
and
know.
everything.
I've been playing. That's mainly I used it.
Show me again, Nick.
Hang on.
Oh, cool.
Hang on. Wait a
It's
minute.
kind of clipping a little bit because of the way my green screen's set up, but it's even got like the kind of bronze paddles and everything on the back.
Give me a sec.
It's got the Fallout
Why is it not
Look
showing
good.
Nick? Hold on. I'm trying to get it to show Nick.
Do it. What are you trying to do? Trying to do a solo load? Is that what you're
On the
trying to
big
do?
screen.
There we go. Okay.
Got Peter in a big
Did
Show
you
your
get it? Okay.
Yep. Show your controller.
Yeah, this one right here. Which is lit up because I've been using it currently to
I
actually
love
play
the
Mortal Kombat on PC. Because, oh geez, it keeps cutting in on me. There we go.
That's
Okay,
okay.
kind
I
of getting
love-
it.
That's
Kind of
good.
doing it. Ah, my green screen's causing problems. The controller is disappearing into the ether. Sorry guys, my bad.
Looks good.
No,
though.
I love
Raise
the color
issues.
scheme. I
I
love
thought
the
about
color
doing
scheme.
a Design Lab Elite. 'Cause I
That's
had
what
the
I did.
Elite
We did
2.
Elite 2s.
Yeah,
Um,
I had the Elite 2. I thought about doing it. You know, next time I do one for me, it'd be Elite 2 Design Lab.
Yeah, we got 2 of them. Nicole got a red and black one, which looks really swanky. That one's really nice. And then I got this one. I went with a more funky color set than hers. I actually had her set up with, I thought it looked really good, but she wasn't a fan. I had it set up with like green and red, and I just called it the Robin controller because it looked a lot like a Robin schema from Batman, which I thought looked really cool. But she didn't go for it. I'm like, I totally would have bought that. But the design tool is actually a lot of fun. It's kind of a
Yeah.
neat thing to sit around and mess around with and figure out what you can make. And it's really cool seeing, because you'll randomly see pictures on Twitter of people with just something crazy designed that I didn't even think of, that is just amazing, the amount of
It would be
flexibility
cool.
that you have with that.
If they do it with the console too.
Yeah, that would be fantastic to do it with a console.
Yeah.
So, see what else we got. I mean, I
Oh.
grabbed everything that I could.
This is
Oh, there-
Nicole's.
Okay, nice.
I'm glad she found this because she was looking for it earlier and she couldn't find it.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. And then we'll get to the games. All right, so this is the Brooklyn, the Xbox Series refresh. I wish you know what? Unfortunately, these were not very high res.
And then also the like a haptic controller along with that too, right?
Yeah, a new controller.
Uh-huh.
Let me see if I can find better pictures here.
That is the one thing I really like about the PS5 controller. That when you don't get desensitized to it, which if it's used effectively, you really don't, is really nice and kind of immersive on some of the games. Like Astro's Playroom is great for showing you just what that controller can do with haptics. And to see something like that come to more platforms, I think is great, right?
All
Because
right,
the way it's mostly used now, a lot of times I get desensitized to it and I don't even pay any attention to it anymore.
I guess that's up to the developer how they want to utilize some of those tools, right? But what
Yeah.
the haptic controller can do and this and that, you know, if it's gonna be part of the game.
Yeah, the earlier you get that to somebody, the better. Because Ratchet & Clank did a really good job with it. Astro's Playroom did a really good job with it. But it really depends on the kind of effort that the developer is willing to put into something like that, is what you're going to get out of it, right?
Right. So, the most powerful Xbox ever, now adorably digital. A new design. Still going to be $500. They might. This is reduce PSU power by 15%, so it's got more sustainability stuff in it. They were talking about perhaps moving to ARM for the CPU, and I'm not sure if that's great or not.
I thought ARM was primarily a mobile chipset.
That's what I thought.
I mean, I could be wrong. They could be
Well,
branching
look
out
what
to other
they
chipsets. but
what's
when I hear
in the
ARM, I
new
think,
iPhones.
It's a
Yeah, is that what they're using on the new
I don't
iPhone?
know.
which can play games.
Well, I mean,
yeah.
any of
Yeah.
the phones can play games. I mean,
Well, no.
mobile
they're-
chipset doesn't necessarily mean bad, but usually if you can have an even beefier chipset if you're doing something in a larger form factor. But I guess it depends on how tightly they want to pack the internals in this thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's what they're trying to do with this. So,
Yeah.
I'm just simply trying to find better pictures. Unfortunately, so this is the Brooklyn, the Elwood.
Hey, welcome Sean to Rumble.
Hey, Sean, he's down there on Rumble. And Brother Hemp is in the house. Hemp Hero, what's going on?
Hey, Hemp, how you doing, man?
No, not everything has to be branded Brooklyn. Retro says, name it the Staten Island. Lean into that trash can aesthetic.
No sleep till Brooklyn, right?
That's
It's
right.
just interesting that the look that they're going with this is being a mid-gen refresh or whatever.
Yeah.
I'll be
Really?
honest. I don't really like this look. I like that look less. I never really liked the look of the S personally. I just that big black fan on the side of it painted
Yeah,
white.
but
do
I
something
like
cool
that.
with it.
I have the S in my living room, and I don't stand it up, so I don't really see that. But I like how small it is.
No, I could totally see, given how it can get really small, mostly because they don't have the disk drive in it, right?
Yeah,
So I
right.
totally
And
see that.
And I really did enjoy the PS4 Slim because I was able to slide it underneath the TVs.
Yeah, and that's the version of the PS4 I have too, because the first one was too bowed, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna wait on the Slim.
Yeah.
Oh, is this a better picture? Hang on, I might have a better picture. I might have to do it this way. Let me
Rumble keeps telling me in my watch that you're streaming, and I'm like, I know, I'm on the show.
just in case you didn't know.
Yeah, just in case I didn't know I was here. I mean,
All right.
I am getting older. That may eventually become a problem, but it's not just yet.
All right, let me see if I can. Here we go. Okay.
Okay.
That's a little better. So 4K Gen 9 console with more internal storage because this is going to have a 2 terabyte drive in it. Faster Wi-Fi because they're going with Wi-Fi 6. Reduced power and a more immersive controller. We'll talk about the controller in a second. Which I have thoughts on that, by the way. Cooking with him. I've got it.
I love that channel name. That's
I know.
fantastic.
I know. Scepter says that'd be Jersey. Giving our fans more to love. So more internal storage, a USB-C front port for with power delivery. And
I mean, that's cool because that means you can just charge your controller right there too. You don't need a separate thing for that, man.
no, that's true. Bluetooth 5.2 for improved accessory experiences and a die shrink. Now, and no disk drive, which I guess they're trading off the disk drive for another terabyte of storage.
Well, and also the space.
No.
Is it the same size as the
Series S, right?
as the Series X, except round?
Yes.
That's what
Yeah.
They had a side-by-side comparison, I think.
Yeah, they're about the same size. Although,
Okay.
and it's all 100% recyclable packaging.
But this is one reason why this is bad. How can you put it on its side?
I don't think this
You
one you'll be
can
able
on
to.
this.
You won't be
Yeah, I
able
don't
to.
think you could on this one.
It'll roll away.
That is the advantage to the square unit, is you can
Yes.
lay down on its side.
Yes, which most people
Well,
don't.
unless you have a little same thing that I have on my speaker. It's like a little shelf thing. So you put it in there so it doesn't
Yeah.
roll.
Yeah, and
I
that's
can
how that's
see
how they
that.
do it with the PS5. There's like a little foot that you
Yeah.
put underneath it. Like you've got one, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here's the S refresh. So still $299. This one also has more storage. So this is going to have a 1 terabyte drive rather than the 512. We'll have that new controller. We'll have the faster Wi-Fi. So basically, it will be the same as the S as far as having it. But I mean, it's going to have better parts in it.
Yeah.
Now for the controller, let me see if I can find that controller. I have thoughts on the controller.
See, my big complaint on this so far is a terabyte should have been the standard this time.
Yes.
I felt that from the beginning. The storage space has gotten so cheap. A terabyte should have been standard in everything this generation.
Well, it was in the X, not the S. It should have been in the
The X has
too.
512.
The S has 512. The X has a terabyte.
Yeah.
I thought the X had.
Well,
had
and now
five-
the
had
new
512.
series, new Series S has
Yeah,
um,
terabyte.
Yeah.
is a terabyte.
Oh, and Marceau
Because the
got
PlayStation
2
5
terabyte.
has 500. It doesn't have a terabyte.
Correct. No, the X has a 1 terabyte drive in it. And Marceau said he bought the 2 terabyte expansion drive, which I do think.
I haven't bought that expansion drive.
I have a 1
haven't
terabyte
needed
expansion.
it yet.
Yeah, I have a
Yeah.
1 terabyte. as
I
well.
need it. I'm starting to need it. So this
The
new
thing is, like, hopefully it will drop in price some more.
yeah, I'm hoping for like a Black Friday sale.
I'm not sure
Yeah.
how I feel about this black line on the bottom of the controller.
I don't-
It's kind of ugly.
Yeah,
I don't like the two-tone
Yeah.
either.
I don't
Well,
like the two-tone.
Hey, it's the same. Look, it's
But I guess
Yeah,
it-
but the way that's angled is more aesthetically pleasing than just a straight line across.
yeah.
well,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I it's just an aesthetic thing for me. I understand that the current one has two-tone, but
So this new controller is a wireless 2. It's got direct to cloud and Bluetooth 5.2. This one now has precision haptic feedback, and the haptics
Cool.
double. The haptics double as speakers.
That's
huh?
I
Interesting.
yeah.
Okay, so I thought, well, no, I guess they don't have any speakers on their controllers currently. I'm so used to
No.
the PlayStation one having that I don't
Yeah.
even think about it anymore. Because they've had
Yeah.
that since the 4.
That's
Yeah.
weird though. They act as speakers. It's got an accelerometer, and then quieter buttons and thumbsticks.
Well, that's kind of cool. It's a kind of a cool way of doing it because instead of just having a motor to do it, you could actually do low frequency ranges with the speakers
right,
to do the same thing
right,
instead of just having a rumble motor, which is how it's currently done,
right.
right?
Yeah.
And
Yep.
since you could possibly pump sound out of it too, it could just act as like a speaker for certain things that you want to come over, like say comms and stuff like that, in a single player game, not like online, obviously. And that could be another cool use of it. So it serves a dual purpose. That's a really cool idea if they make it work right.
Probably
Yeah.
cheaper too.
Yeah, probably. It's certainly more sustainable because driving a speaker is going to be less moving parts than, trying to shake the controller mechanically.
Yes. Well, we're gonna see how that works. It also has. I like this. Engage in delay. Lift to wake. I've had that happen a few times where I would do something and the controller would go to sleep and I'd have to press the Xbox button again. That's kind of a cool little feature.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I like
That's a
that.
much better use of lift awake. When you initially said that, I'm like, if I pick my controller up to move it somewhere, is that going to turn on my Xbox? No, thank you. It's just because I picked my controller up doesn't mean I want to play the system. It just may mean I need to move it out of the way.
Right. New modular thumbsticks, and the quieter buttons and thumbsticks. New swappable battery, rechargeable and swappable battery. So, all right. So here's.
So I guess my next question is to fix drift. Are they using the new methodology that I've seen from like Nintendo talking about? Oh god, it was some sort of like liquid metal or something like that they were using to self-write the analog sticks to remove drift.
I'm not sure. I don't know. This is.
But there's been a couple technologies to come out to try to get rid of stick drift, which has been a big problem this generation for a lot of people.
Engage in Delight. I think Jim Ryan copyrighted that one. You're in it now, Microsoft.
Mhm.
So here's all right. So here's where I do have somewhat of a small issue with this. The haptic feedback, all nice. Speakers, all nice. Accelerometer, all nice. But because you're introducing this mid into a generation, you are risking segmenting your population now. Because now, who's going?
Well, yeah, but I mean, you make it sound like this is what's coming out. That's not necessarily
Well, I don't know
true.
when. So that's true. So that the
It ain't official.
no, it's not. And they may.
Well,
have
here's the
to-
thing. Even if this comes out, this is just them future-proofing their controllers so people have a heads up on how to use it as they move forward. That doesn't mean it's necessarily going to be used specifically in this generation.
and
And
that's-
those features are features. A lot of these features are ones that you can still play the game and enjoy the game without them. It might be nicer with them, But much like the PS5 controller, the haptics are nice. I don't need them to play the game.
I don't
right?
either. But that's sort of the point I'm making too, is that, you know, that was our thing with Kinect. And eventually people just stopped making Kinect games because not everybody had one. Once they stopped coupling them with the Xbox One and you could buy an Xbox One without it, it made no sense for people to make games for it. And so that's the only thing I'm concerned with. Now, what they're looking at, and I don't know if this is let me see if I can blow this up. This may not be the lineup anymore as far as their timeline, because again, this was, I don't know when they put this slide together, but that controller is due to launch in May. So it's due to launch before they even announce the new consoles.
But I mean, like, that new controller should be able to, you can use it on your current X and S. It's not just tied to the refresh.
Correct. What I'm saying is in order for you to, in order for you to enjoy a developer adding those things to a game, you're gonna have to go buy that controller. So with Sony, they did it from the beginning. Every controller has it. There's no segmentation, and segmentation.
But not every game utilizes those features.
Very true. Very true. But it's there if they want to use it, and if the developer uses it, everybody gets to use it. And that's why I never was in favor of Microsoft decoupling Kinect. Was, yeah, not everybody made a Kinect game, but those who did, everybody got to use it. When you played Dead Rising 4, everybody used Kinect for it. When people who played NBA 2K, if they cussed, they got a technical foul, but everybody got it. And you know, once you don't make it mandatory for everybody to have it, we saw what happened to you know, who made Rock Band?
Oh,
Harmonix?
Harmonix.
Okay.
Look what happened to Harmonix. So
Yeah.
that's my only issue. It looks like a great controller. And maybe, you know, I don't know. And maybe this does change because now people see it. I'd be interested to see what comes of it and what developers actually will use it.
And that's the thing, it's still an option. You can still use your regular
without
that, right? So
well, we hope.
It just come down to the developers, to whatever they decide, hey, we're gonna use these features now, and if you want to buy, you know, if you have the new haptic controller, then you can. If not, you know, it's up to the gamer. I mean, they want to decide they want these features.
Well, it does two things. One, it gives gamers options to be able to jump into it early, because as it moves on and those refreshers come in and they make more and more consoles with these in there, those will be the standard controllers added in. So that will eventually become the standard.
Yeah.
Right? Over time.
And maybe there'll be an option in the game where you can turn it on, off, whatever. I don't know. You know.
Yeah, I'm and again, I'm just going off of past experience. That's all.
No, I see where you're coming from. I understand your interpretation.
I get that. The Kinect is kind of.
It depends on how hard they push and if they stay the line with it, right? Like, I don't feel like the Kinect was really doing completely what they wanted, and a lot of people were really against it because they didn't want a camera facing them.
Yeah.
And they didn't want it attached. They didn't want to have to set it up. A lot of people didn't want that technical foul if they cussed at a game. A lot of people didn't want to get found by the alien if they got jump scared or anything like that. It's features they didn't want to begin with.
But they felt like the added price just to buy the Xbox One, that they didn't feel like they just justify that they should have been added. They should have had the option with or without.
Right, but if somebody goes out and buys one of these consoles, this is no added cost. This is just the controller that comes with it.
Yeah,
if you want to buy it aftermarket, that's fine. It doesn't cost any more than the other controllers that are on the market, so why not get the extra feature set?
Yeah.
Right. That's how I would sell it. Because if that's gonna be your methodology moving forward, that puts you on the same step, if not a step ahead of where Sony is right now with some of the technology that you're putting in there.
Yeah.
And if you also advertise it as one that won't get stick drift, and that proves out to be true, that's an easy sell to most people. I'm not saying you're not wrong to have like reservations, but I'm saying there's ways to assuage that.
Yeah.
Sure.
Let's just put it that way.
Sure, I understand that, and then we'll see. Again, all I'm saying is I was going off of kind of what the past has had. This may be totally different. People, I mean, it is a controller. People have gotten accessories before.
Dude, I've got so many different Xbox controllers around my house. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can understand. Let me see what else. So then there was talk of the game lineup. Now, this is where I think things probably are not where they seem. Let me just double check a couple of other. Some of this stuff is kind of gobbledygook as far as what the, it's just boilerplate stuff that they had put together for presentation purposes.
Yeah.
The other thing I wanted to look at was current gaps in 23 to reach 2030 goals. I don't know if this is hard to see that.
I can't really read that right now.
I can't either. Hang on, let me see if I can find. I got these off of somebody on Twitter who posted them, and obviously wasn't. Obviously,
yeah, and I'm not
wasn't
surprised
great.
Xbox adopting the haptic stuff. I mean, it has been something trending and popular.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's not like haptics
That's
are
just
going
the way
away anywhere.
Yeah.
We've always had like force feedback and controllers and stuff
Yeah.
like that for a long time now. Using it to a great effect to try to increase immersion is a good thing, and it's been a really good selling point for PlayStation.
Yeah.
It's been one of the things that set them apart from Microsoft this generation. If they can cut that off, that's another advantage that Sony doesn't have over them, right?
Yeah. They want to
that's
get that advantage that, Xbox has been known, people prefer their controllers somewhat. But then once these new PS5 controllers came out, that was a big talk, right? A lot of people were like, oh, I like the new haptic, and, I wish Xbox.
Yeah. I mean, I went through on Mortal Kombat, and I tried several controllers to find out which one, because on the mode I'm playing now, it behooves me to use a regular controller, not an arcade stick. So I went through and tried all of them, and the Xbox controller won out. I tried an 8-bit controller, I tried my PS5 controller, and then I tried my Xbox controller, and that recessed D-pad won out. It was just more accurate than the others for me personally.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's the one I'm using currently when I'm doing this particular mode, because there's things I need it for. Otherwise, I'd be using an arcade stick.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of times where I'll use it because the paddle buttons are back and things like that, as opposed to the PlayStation controller, which doesn't have that. So they both had their advantages, and PlayStation tried to remove that with the Pro, but I don't think they took it a step far enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here we go. Let's see if this is any better.
Scepter, I wouldn't say better than a stick. There's just invasion mode has you using the right stick, the right analog stick for certain actions. And there's no way to do that on an arcade stick unless you flip a switch on it to make it act like the right stick, and then you can't move and fight at the same time. And so it's problematic. But I wouldn't say it's better than a fight stick, but on Mortal Kombat it works about as well. Like, you could totally use an Xbox controller on Mortal Kombat and play completely fine and have almost no detriment to your game. Do I prefer an arcade stick? Yes. are there certain, it is convenient and certain advantages to being able to reach certain things on the regular stick? Yeah, because they literally think they built it with the base controllers first and arcade sticks second, is how they built the game. I still prefer an arcade stick, but there's certain concessions for certain modes. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. Okay, so here's an interesting slide. Let me see if the slide I have actually looks any better. They talked about ZeniMax and what ZeniMax was working on and doing. That's about as good as I can make it. One thing we did get out of this was Elder Scrolls 6 is Xbox only. So that is not coming to PlayStation. Which I don't know why anybody, number one, don't know why anybody was surprised by that. Number two, don't know why anybody is outraged by that. They bought the company. I
think it's because of the way Phil Spencer kind of phrased things about not necessarily having exclusivity when they bought some of these companies.
Yes, he said
and now exactly what we all thought would happen happened, and people are faking outrage because they're just not. Yeah. They're like, but he said they wouldn't do that, and I'm like, but they spent like $40 billion on the company.
Yeah, and that's not, and he didn't say
case
that.
By case, so.
Yes, and that case was PlayStation got the Quake 2 remaster, right? PlayStation continues to get any and all Doom Eternal DLC, Fallout 76 DLC. They still have Ghostwire Tokyo. They still have Deathloop.
Elder Scrolls Online.
Chances are they might get the sequel, because I don't know if that's going to be exclusive. Dishonored would be another one they could float.
Right.
If they wanted it to.
So there's
up to them. If they want to do that. You know?
Right.
Fallout 3 remaster makes sense to have on all platforms because that was on all platforms before.
Right. So those are things that they're going to. Those are the case by cases. Oblivion remaster. Well, Oblivion was Xbox only, so maybe, maybe Oblivion remaster might be something they feed to. Although, I guess that to be honest, after all of this FTC and ABK stuff, how much the PlayStation gets as a result of their actions in this whole merger thing, that wait, what? But grinds for oysters, crafts necklaces, clutches pearls. Oh my God, Rav is the best.
I'll be honest. I could see Microsoft because honest, they've been very practical at this whole thing. Which is weird because I never thought I'd ever say Microsoft is the voice of reason in anything in my lifetime, but they kind of have been. And no, I'm not a huge Microsoft fanboy. I'm not a huge Sony fanboy. I just play what I play. So anybody listening is like me going, oh, he's just another Xbox fanboy. Well, no, not really. If anything, I play my Switch and my PC more than I play my Xbox and my PlayStation. So, but they've been fairly reasonable with how they've responded to a lot of not only criticism, but antagonism from Sony's camp, right? So I could see them playing ball because and it also helps them in another way, as in it makes them look like they're playing nice with Japan, and they still want to be in that market, right? So the more they play ball and the more they're nice with these companies that are primarily out of that country, the more receptive I feel like the population's going to be to their product, and that helps them in the long run.
Right. And I would agree with that. They could work with Nintendo. They could work with a number of people. I think Sony is going to catch hands in some ways. I really do.
On some titles, absolutely. I don't think they will on all these titles.
Elder Scrolls, well. So, Elder Scrolls Online, Doom Eternal, all of that, and all of that. And look at the release schedule. Fiscal year 20. So all those games are staying where they are. Fiscal year 21, Starfield, we knew, of course, that was the original date, and we all know where that ended up, which all for the best. Elder Scrolls Online
Honestly,
expansion.
it was better for it because I'll be the first to
Absolutely.
admit this is probably the least buggy Bethesda game I've ever played.
Absolutely. And that was Phil that did that. That was Phil's call. As much
It's still buggy. I've seen some weird stuff, but
Oh yeah.
it's
Yeah,
way
it's
better
not-
than most of their titles.
there hasn't been game breaking stuff like Fallout 76.
But you can tell that with once Bethesda has been able to have that the vault open for the money they need for Starfield and other things, engineering help and so on. You can see that all that work put in Starfield.
They still need to move to a different engine. I'm sorry, that creation engine's just getting too dated. They need something different.
We'll see. I mean, it's worked for them on this, so maybe next time.
I think they need to move to Unreal. Personally, I think they could make it work. They just need to ramp people up on it.
So it's amazing. So it's interesting you say that because one of Microsoft's other studios, the Coalition, has been working real close with Epic on Unreal Engine 5. And I mean real close. That isn't out of the realm of possibility.
I think
Maybe
it's a more
for
stable
Fallout
engine.
5, it could.
I think.
Yeah. Maybe Elder
Yeah.
Scrolls 6?
I mean, that would be good because Bethesda moving to a more standardized engine, I think will fix a lot of their quirkiness. And now I'm not talking like good quirkiness. I'm talking like bad quirkiness that causes dumb stuff to happen that shouldn't happen, right? Just from like physics standpoints. And maybe that's not what Bethesda fans want, right? There's tons of people that exploit
It's not
Skyrim's
part of
physics
the-
to make really stupid stuff happen, and they love that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It feels like it would be a good fit for them. It feels like it would cure a lot of their ills. They wouldn't have to build it internally. They just need to be able to have staff that can either get their people up to speed or work what they need to work into that engine.
All right, I'm still looking for anything else here that might. Okay, so and we'll wrap this up in a few minutes because I think we've gone through a lot of this. Doom Eternal, Ghostwire, so all that's 21. Starfield obviously slipped. So they thought they were going to get Indiana Jones out last year. Obviously, they didn't. But if you look at the schedule, Indiana Jones may not be that far off. We may be getting that in 2024 if they thought they were going to get it out in 22.
Yeah. Plus, there's Starfield DLC, which they haven't.
Starfield DLC, an Oblivion remaster, and then there is Doom.
It's a
Year
brand new
Zero,
Doom title, Doom Year
Yes.
Zero.
which I have been waiting for, and I know Seth's been waiting for because he just does nothing but play Doom Eternal right now.
I need to go back through Doom Eternal and make it through the expansion content. I could just start on the expansion content, but that is not the kind of game I want to come back into cold and try to do the expansion.
Oh, look, Dread. Moderator now.
Is Dread a Monty
Ooh.
mod?
Dread's a Moddy mod. Because Dread said, "Oh,
I don't have
I'm
my mod privileges
status."
over here.
He said, "Mod status feels like home." Well, I can make you a mod. Did I make you a mod yet, Nick? I think I did.
I have no idea. Probably not. It's okay though.
Because I'm just modding up
I
everything.
mean, I'll happily punt people to come in, but I've rarely seen.
I
anybody
think that I
needed to
did.
be
I think
punted.
I did because you said, "Hey, if I was a mod, I could have." There was somebody you could have punted. Let me double check.
Oh
Hold on.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Because
think
there was
you-
And I
somebody
think
that
I-
came in and just started spamming
Yeah.
links, and I'm like, I would get rid of this guy, but I don't have any authority to do that right now.
Hold on. Let me. Okay. Yep. You are. It might take a couple minutes, but now you are as well. Okay. And Hemp, you're a mod. Back
Hemp's
from
a
the-
great mod to have.
Yes,
quite
he is.
frankly.
Yes, he is.
He does a great job in any chat he's in.
Yep. Back from the Dead's a mod. Marceau's a mod. Chris is a mod. Peter's a mod. Relic's a mod. So, what's up, game complainers? What's up? What's up, guys? How you doing?
Hey, game complainers.
What's up? We still have a couple people up there watching on YouTube. Not many. Um,
So you got your. Apparently, they're still going in on Elder Scrolls Online. I thought that was dying out.
no, I think they.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, it's each time they have like a
They
new
just had an
new
expansion.
add-on,
Yeah.
new
Yeah.
expansions coming
Yeah.
out like on the
A
regular.
licensed IP game. That's very vague. Ghostwire Tokyo sequel. It's kind of
Yeah.
neat to see that did well enough to get a sequel. I haven't tried the first
Yeah.
one yet.
I hear
And
it's
Dishonored
good.
3 means I need to get through Dishonored 2.
I need. To
I'm
get through-
shocked to see that. I thought that series died. I loved the first one. I never tried the second one.
I didn't either. So these are, and then look, licensed IP game. I wonder what that is. Could that be a
Yeah,
new
I was
Fallout?
like, that's super vague.
And then what is Project Platinum?
Oh, I don't know what Project Kestrel is either, and that's on here several times.
Project Hibiki. Yeah. So
License. Oh no, they mentioned they mentioned Indiana Jones already, right? So
They
that's
did.
not the
Yeah,
license.
so
It's
it's
not
not
Indiana
Indiana
Jones.
Jones.
I mean, it could be another Fallout. It could be Project Platinum. Could be another Wolfenstein. We're due for another Wolfenstein.
Yes.
I would
So-
like to see some new IPs. I see a lot of stuff leaning heavily on Bethesda, which is fine. They paid a lot of money for them. But I would like to see some newer stuff coming out of here.
Well, this is, and I wonder what these projects are that might be new IPs for
Yeah,
them.
some of these unknown projects that just have vague names could be
Yeah.
new IPs. Who knows?
And I think they honestly needed to get Starfield done. I think that was because that's been their tent pole. That was their big in. And look, it's paid off. 10 million people are playing it. So you can't.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not arguing that they needed to
No.
put the money and the time into Starfield. That game needed to come out. It needed to get done, and it needed to be what everybody. Okay, well, it didn't. I feel like it tried to be everything everybody wanted it to be, and it became this weird hodgepodge. But it's still a very, very good game. I'd probably give it a 7 or an 8. I don't think I'd give it a 10, but I'd give it at least a 7 or an 8.
I'd say
And a
an 8.
7 is not a bad score, people. You guys got to
No,
stop thinking a 7
yeah.
is a bad score.
No.
Okay,
IGN, it's really bad. Anything
Yeah.
8 and below is bad.
But that's IGN. They start at 6. I mean, they don't really have a scale.
Yeah.
I mean, if you get a 1 or 2 from IGN, your game is like so fundamentally broken. They probably couldn't even boot it up. Even then,
If
if
you
you
get
paid
a
them enough
7
money,
from
you could
IGN,
at least get a
it
4.
means it's pretty bad.
Yobi says he hopes that license IP is Mandalorian. That'd be. Could they? I mean,
I don't see why not.
they're doing an
Yeah, they
Indiana
could.
Jones game, so they're doing
Ubisoft
like,
got a Star Wars deal, and
yeah.
they're
And
LucasArts, Disney spreading that Star Wars IP around.
Yep, and LucasArts is already working with Bethesda on Indiana Jones, so
Yeah.
could it? No. So yeah, I think that they're working on that.
What
I
I
think
don't see on this, which was kind of disappointing, is I don't see any changes to Redfall or roadmap, which
I
is
know.
kind of a problem.
Well, this was but then we don't know how old this is though.
True.
Well, it's
I mean,
obviously
because there's no performance fix that's come out for that yet. There was expansion content that was supposed to come out that I don't know where it is. So I feel bad for the people that paid the extra $30 on the game to get the expansion content, because there's at least another character and some other stuff that I don't think ever dropped.
But Phil did say, he did tweet out that the 60 FPS is being worked on. So
yes, they did, and so did Pete Hines. Pete Hines said they're not done with Redfall. So Big Block
Good,
says
because it's a good game, and
It is
I
a
wish
good
more
game.
people get off their high horses and stop playing it. You know.
I beat it, and I got to tell you that, and I was a little shocked. I was both impressed and disappointed at the same time. I was impressed that Starfield's combat felt better than Redfall, and I was more disappointed in Redfall for it, because it should have felt better than Starfield.
well, Starfield had other studios help them with that combat.
True.
And so, going forward, I think you're going to get more support between studios and so on, plus Xbox Redfall didn't have that. By the time
Yeah.
they purchased ZeniMax, that thing was pretty much already done, and Arcane really didn't. I guess they didn't reach out to Xbox.
I feel like Arcane was a little
That's
confused
much
on what they were supposed to be making.
Well,
I mean, I
yeah,
still
it
had
was-
fun with it for what it
Yeah.
was, but I played it as a solitary experience,
Yeah, me too.
and I can tell you it was not designed well to be flexible that way. It's kind of it's a much lesser experience for it.
I'm gonna stay up on that high horse for a little while longer. I'm riding the
You
horse.
stay there.
I'm riding the horse.
Such a pony.
X-Man, blah blah blah. No management said a week or two back they said they're still working on. Yeah, and Pete Hines said the same thing. So, and which is fine. I have Redfall to play.
I mean, they set it up easily for a sequel, but
Oh yeah.
I don't know if they're going to be able to execute that. I feel like the engine and a lot of gameplay needs an overhaul if they're going to do that.
Oh.
Well, if they do, expect more support, more.
Yeah. If it got refined, I think it could become something cool. But by the end of it, it really did kind of feel like Dead Island with zombies, because Dead Island with vampires, but the vampires didn't do anything all that new and different. I don't know. It was kind of weird. I had fun with it for what it was. I mean, I'd probably if I'm gonna give Starfield an 8, I can't give that thing any more than a 6. In all fairness, even though I spent 30 hours on it and beat it.
Oh. So the and keep in mind this is just ZeniMax. There's still
Yeah.
hey King, he's back. And Dreadpool is having a conversation with himself to try to get the game complainers on here, which of course I want the game complainers to come on, and I will talk to them about coming on. But he said, up in the YouTube chat, he said, "Did y'all see Game Complainers was a guest last night on News Podcast? Maybe the next guest spot can be here." And then down in the Rumble chat, he said, "That's a great idea, Dreadpool from YouTube." And then he came up and said, "Thank you, Dreadpool on Rumble."
To be fair, I've had conversations with myself from YouTube to Rumble on here as well. So,
Watch him modding himself in a minute.
Right.
that would be fantastic.
All right, the King is back. So, Big Block said Starfield's a 9 for him. Just throwing that out there. But let's.
Everybody's got their own thing on it. There's a couple of things that are nitpicks for me that stand out the more I play the game, and that's why I in the fact that it even got an 8 out of that, because some of the nitpicks are really bad ones for me. They're things I will not tolerate in other games, and I'm putting up with them in this game. So that says something for the game.
Yeah.
Because weight limitations, I loathe. I hate it in this game. It's even worse in this game.
It's not
And I'm
worse than
still
this
I
giving
don't
it a
game.
hate.
You know which one was worse? The Division.
Yeah.
Division 2.
Oh, the
I didn't play the
Yeah,
Oh,
but
that
was
sucked.
bad. I stopped playing
You-
that game because of that.
Yes.
You had to unload the. Just
That-
get
That
around.
was like, this one is
That
not
sucked.
too bad because you have, your companions, you have plenty of
Yeah.
your shipping
Dude,
store.
I've had 1,000 items out of 100 something, and I still get around pretty easily.
Dude,
So
every time I turn around, I'm walking 5 feet and then waiting like 30 seconds for my oxygen to come back. And that's after unloading and unloading.
Well, the thing
and
is that
unloading.
there's
It's
things
awful.
that you could do skills,
Yeah, that's what
helmet,
you have to
the
do.
suit, like you can add more. Options.
I haven't been able to mod the suit yet to add any weight limitation on. I took every point in weightlifting.
Well, you
all
gotta,
the
They
you
also
points.
gotta
have to do
unlock
the oxygen
skills for
thing.
the engineering on the suits and stuff like that. Helmet.
Yeah. Well, I haven't gotten
it all
that
adds
deep
up,
into
yeah.
it to be able to do that yet.
Yeah, no,
So
it
it's
does-
still
there's-
pretty bad.
yeah, no, there's stuff there to help you, to get around some of that.
The frustration is I have to dump a crap ton of points into something just to remove something that's a nuisance that probably shouldn't be there in the first place. I should be putting my points into something fun, not something that means I'm not stopping every 5 seconds to not be able to play the game.
You
That's
can also decide not to stuff your pockets.
That's right.
Yeah, but the problem is
Yeah,
that
that's-
stuff is on my hotbar for different scenarios in combat.
Yeah, right.
A lot of it's I'm not carrying that much extra gear when
I'm
it boils
carrying a
down
lot
to
of
it, except for
weapons.
like some resources that I need for crafting.
Yeah,
Now, the
but you
whole of
don't
my
craft
ship needs to
really
be
in the-
cleaned
do you
out.
craft a lot in
That's a
field,
given.
or just at home? Whatever.
Well, and thankfully your home locker is unlimited. So we are back on fucking Starfield.
Hey, We were.
Get the
It
point.
was on this. You can't. It keeps coming up on this damn list. We're gonna keep talking about it.
So I did not see this.
I can
but-
go off on game history for a couple hours if you want to, but then everybody else checks out.
So I wanted to also show this. So I did see this after the fact. Phil also sent an email out to his team that I thought was pretty good. It says, today, several documents submitted in court proceedings related to our proposed acquisition of Activision Blizzard were unintentionally disclosed. I know this is disappointing, even if many of the documents are well over a year old and our plans have evolved. I also know we take the confidentiality of our plans and our partners' information very seriously. This leak obviously is not us living up to that expectation. We will learn from what happened and be better going forward. He should have put in there someone, he would never do that, but yes, someone's head will roll. We all put incredible amounts of passion and energy into our work, and this is never how we want that hard work to be shared with the community. That said, there's so much to be excited about, and when we're ready, we'll share the real plans with our players. In closing, I appreciate all the work that you pour into Team Xbox to surprise and delight our players. In the days and weeks ahead, let's stay focused on what we can control, continuing the amazing success of Starfield, the upcoming launch of the incredible and accessible Forza Motorsport, and continuing to build games, services, and devices that millions of players can enjoy. That's a good That's a good email, and I'm glad that he is acknowledging that Starfield is a success, because no matter what the score, no matter what IGN gave it, no matter what has happened, we are
that was IGN USA gave it.
Right, not even IGN other places. But we tend to forget that we are not the mainstream. We like to think we are because we have a voice and because 35, 40 people are watching us. But we're not. And neither is IGN anymore. People aren't getting magazines delivered to their homes anymore. If you want to go see that IGN review, you got to go see it online. So we're not the mainstream. And the reason that 10 million people are playing Starfield right now, even though it is on a single platform, is because the game is pretty damn good. And
Well, technically not a single platform. You could play it on PC.
But you know what I mean. It's the Xbox is a platform for them. Whether it's
Correct.
It
whether
plays
it is,
anywhere. They have Game Pass.
right. So they understand that people are going to give this a chance, like you did, Nick, right? Because it's on Game Pass.
Yeah.
And you're playing the shit out of it.
Yeah.
And you
I put plenty of time into it.
Yeah, and you didn't know.
I'll be
if
the
you would.
first to admit for a open Bethesda agnostic, I guess is the best way to put it. I don't hate their stuff, but I just don't. I'm glad it's there for people that love it, but I've never really been able to get engaged in
Sure.
most Bethesda games.
Which
Right? It's a struggle for me to get through the stories. I don't really like a lot of the dialogue options. I don't really like a lot of the characters. It's just I've not been able to engage on it. I understand I'm in a minority on that. Not saying anybody should take my opinion for any more than what it is. To come in and play Starfield and be this pleasantly surprised with my experience this far, because I barely touched the main story, and I'm
That's
level
huge.
17 and I've probably got like 15, 20 hours.
That's huge.
If I'm doing that, then they probably got something because they're bringing in people that they're keeping the audience that they had before because it feels very much like this, but they're getting new people like me to kind of get more on board.
Yep.
So that's something.
And how many other people are giving it a try and sticking with it that they got 10 million people playing it? That's not a small number. And how many people went out and bought Game Pass for this game, right? How many people are we have seen news articles that Xbox console sales have gone up as people have been able to get them.
Well, and anybody that's asked me about it, and that's what I've been telling them to do. I'm like, do you have a PC that meets the minimum requirements? Well, yeah. Okay. Don't spend $70. Spend $15.
Right. Exactly.
It's a no-brainer, right?
Yes.
And then you get access to other games. Sure, you want to have it for a couple months, but if you make it your sole focus game and you just play through it, you can play and beat and complete that game and get more than your money's worth out of it for like 15 to 17 bucks.
Right.
Oh yeah.
And then if you don't see anything else of value on there, cancel. Just hit the button and cancel.
And who was it? It's as easy as that. It's Eddie Murphy on Saturday Night Live, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you could play this on the cloud on the Xbox One.
You can.
You can,
You can.
And I think for the most part, some people said it's not too bad.
As long as you got the bandwidth for it.
Oh yeah.
I mean, people had it running on a Steam Deck. It doesn't run great, but it runs.
Yeah.
I mean, people were complaining. It's like, oh, it's not even hitting 30 frames a second. I'm like, dude, you have it on a handheld.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me right now? I'm like, this thing's pushing like upper end rig hardware, and it's pushing the X probably to almost a theoretical limit, and you're expecting it to work on the handheld at like 60? Like, if you could hit 30, I'd be shocked.
Yeah. By the way, Phil also wanted to buy Valve. Just throwing that out there, by the way.
I don't think Valve wants to sell.
No,
I don't think they're.
No.
But I don't blame them.
No, of course not.
Come on. I mean, what they've done
it
with
would give
Steam
him an already built-in player base and market on the PC, because they are the marketplace on PC. If you're on PC, your Epic is an option, but most people tend to still buy things on Steam, even if it's free on Epic.
Yeah.
That's just how it works.
Yeah.
Well,
people like their Steam accounts, everything they've invested in it, this and that. Just like people like Xbox ecosystem because they're invested in it, or PlayStation, right? They like what they stick with, like.
Yeah.
And I'll be the first to tell you, like when Killer Instinct dropped on PC as a crusher, I actually ended up buying it on Steam. And the reason I bought it on Steam is because when I tried to use a PC arcade stick with Killer Instinct off the Xbox store, it wouldn't work. It was a horrible experience. I found it on sale on Steam for $5, and it worked instantly.
See,
no problems.
The beauty of Xbox is that they want you to play it wherever you want. So they support their games on Steam or Game Pass. They're okay with that. They really embrace the PC gaming market.
Well, and Sony's getting better about that too.
They've gotten better.
They're starting to bring their stuff to it.
Yeah, but they don't want to do it right away, right?
They don't.
Yeah.
So I wanted to bring this up too as we close out this discussion. What's really funny is what we haven't discussed is, because I think we're all in agreement. I haven't seen anything out of this that makes me go, oh my God, Microsoft's in serious trouble. I mean, yeah,
I've seen some stupid crap on that.
I
don't even entertain it. It's like,
exactly.
At best, I got a peek into some cool games and tech that might be coming down the pipeline.
Right.
At worst, it's why do you care?
Right. Now, it's still a leak of confidential information, and that is bad.
No, that is an instant fireable offense for somebody.
Yes.
No joke.
No joke.
Anybody who's worked in corporate will tell you if you leak confidential information like this, that is your job.
Yes.
Bye bye.
And somebody will lose their job over this. I want to real quick, Yobi. I want that Xbox handheld, an Xbox handheld with a chance of getting a Wi-Fi version or a Wi-Fi version with 5G capable. Take my money,
dude. I feel like that market is being filled by so many people right now. They just have to work with the right partner. Like,
which they kind of
like
have.
The ROG Ally is a good way of doing it.
Yeah,
Getting that to work on
Logitech.
Linux so you could put it on Steam Deck is another good
Yeah,
option.
Bill's mentioned
but
I'd rather Xbox support third party, to where they can have Game Pass on that hardware or whatever, and not do it their own. The same thing with VR. Maybe eventually they might start getting to the VR games, and then Xbox games would be on other VR hardware, but not make their own.
Or just make the
otherwise
make
it's
the
gonna be
hardware
like a
compatible.
Kinect,
with
and then
consoles,
it gets
right.
they stop supporting it after a while. It's like
Exactly.
I'd rather have,
Support the third party, to where
Yeah.
that could be an option.
I thought they were going to do that with VR. Remember, they had talked about the possibility
Yeah.
of teaming up with Oculus when it was still Oculus to perhaps that or HTC. That never materialized.
No.
I do want to bring this up, and then we'll kind of call it because we're getting on 12:30. And once again, I'm just as an aside, we're still sitting at 30 people watching. That's amazing. So we've all talked about the lack of games that they had in 2022. Was no surprise, right? And Phil understood that. So here's an email that he sent to Matt Booty and Jamie Leader at ZeniMax, Sarah Bond, Jarrett West, Stewart, about what happened to their lineup. And he, with the news that Starfield is going to miss holiday, not a ton of clarity on the launch date of Redfall and Stalker 2 development so impacted by the war in Ukraine. I feel like we're in a huge hole with our games lineup for platform marketing differentiation and our Game Pass content. We keep talking about a bit AAA a quarter in the service, and it feels like we're likely to go through a gap of almost 16 months between big exclusive launches on our platform. Halo Infinite being our last on December 8th, 2021. This is really a disaster situation for us, given all we've invested in content across our studios at our GP content fund, Game Pass content fund. We need to learn from this and build a plan forward. And we've all seen it, and we've all talked about games we didn't see, right? Fable, Perfect Dark, things like that. So here's where I don't, where I give Phil Spencer a lot of credit. He's stepping back and recognizing what a lot of people are recognizing. He's taking a different tact on Xbox got no games, but he sees it in what's coming out of his studios. And as the head, the guy who sits at the table that's got to be accountable to Satya Nadella, he sees it. So in terms of learning, we need to get much better at overall portfolio planning on our games with real honesty on dates. Peter, to your concerns you've always had, is be honest about your dates. Doing this from memory, from summer 2021 through December 21, we had an amazing lineup of games with Flight Sim to console, Psychonauts 2, Age of Empires 4 on PC, Forza Horizon 5, and Halo. There were good 3-player games in that time frame, like Back 4 Blood. This was a decent game. We set a high, and I think we'd all agree, mostly. I don't know how much Psychonauts 2 you played, Nick, but that was one of my game of the year.
I hadn't played through the first one, so I didn't jump into the second one. It looks fun. I don't have any gripes against it. It just
Freaking
I hadn't played the first one,
game.
so I just didn't dive in.
An absolute fantastic game. I think of it in terms that I think of high def rush, or hi-fi rush. Hi-fi. It was
See,
one of
Hi-Fi
those-
Rush lost me because of the rhythm aspect, but
see,
that doesn't take away from the fact that I think that's a solid title.
Yeah, to me, it's a Game of the Year candidate, even though it won't be. So this was a solid lineup of games. Forza Horizon 5, Halo Infinite, Flight Sim, which Peter and I put a ton of time into.
See, I'm not big into like the normal Microsoft Flight Simulator. I'm glad it's there because
Oh,
it's been a long time since fans got one of those. So
good.
I feel like it was overdue.
It's good, and the new one's even going to be better. So we set a high bar in 2021 on quality and pacing of content, which was awesome to see. But to come off of that year with no big exclusives launching in 2022 is a portfolio plan miss that we can't afford. If we need to delay launches, understanding there is a financial impact of that, and I'm glad that he points that out, a financial impact of that to create more regular beats for us, then we need to do that. We have to all understand that the situation we are in now is a failure of our planning and production execution. You have to give credit where credit is due. That,
To be fair, I feel like almost everybody is having that conversation right now
uh,
because there are a lot of
there-
dates missed across the board in the industry. Period.
Absolutely.
Because Xbox wasn't the only one that didn't have any games that year.
Yeah.
And if you
No,
think differently,
absolutely.
if you may have had one, maybe two titles that year at most on other platforms, the only one that was really rolling through those years, well, was Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
But
But
also, those years too was going through a pandemic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
That
still
didn't
after
help. We
effects
didn't
of the
mention that,
pandemic.
but that did not help these
Right.
studios where you went from your in together in person, and now you're having to do this at home.
Right.
Yeah, we're now
So that
starting to
kinda
hit the
set things
phase,
back.
though, that if you start to tell me this is a pandemic problem, I'm going to start telling you need to stuff it.
It's part of it. It played a
I
part of it.
understand, but at this point, we're so far out from it, they should be starting to get back on schedule.
Yeah, but
Well,
this
and
stuff
they
is
are.
talked about back in 21 and 20.
Right. This was a
Of course,
2022.
it's going to play a role where it affected 22, which is what
Yeah.
you're saying.
Yeah.
If
this
we're
is-
in 2028 and they're still talking pandemic, I'm going to slap somebody.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gonna. Yeah. Well, that's a whole separate podcast. I'm gonna have to create a separate Rumble channel for that.
Let's do it. Slap it.
But to Chris's point, this was a 2022 email, so he's looking at
Yeah.
But I guess what I was pointing out in this is that he could have taken that tact, right? He could have leaned on that and said, "Hey, what could we do?"
Yeah,
we
or-
were hamstrung. But what he did was he stepped out in front of this and said, "We failed."
Yeah.
And I mean, it says it right there. We all have to understand, and he's talking to his head of Xbox Studios, Matt Booty. He's Jamie Leader, who I think is the head of ZeniMax. Sarah Bond, who is his heir apparent. Hang on, I'm looking up Jamie Leader real quick because now I need to see who Jamie Leader is. Jamie Leader is the president and CEO of ZeniMax. Tim Stewart, who is one of the uppity ups at, I'm looking up him real quick. He is CFO of Xbox. So he's talking to, and Jarrett West. So he's talking to his leadership, and he is telling his leadership, we all have to understand the situation we are in now is a failure of our planning and production execution. Now, I give that man a lot of credit because he stepped right in front of that and said, this is our failure. And and not just, hey, we failed. What do we do about it? That's the mark of a good leader. What are we doing about it? So he's laying out, we need to get better at our overall portfolio planning. If we have to delay launching, understanding there's a financial impact, which speaks to Tim Stewart, we we need to do it, but you can't just delay the delay, and they need to get better. And he actually said, I don't know if everybody remembered coming out of Gamescom, he said that that idea of a AAA game a quarter is no longer a plan, it is an execution. So, to your concern, Nick, I think that what they're ready for is to open those floodgates. And I think the game that needed to start that is now out, which is Starfield.
Honestly, Starfield has been I feel like has almost been as much of an anchor as it's been a boon for them at this point, because there's so much stuff that I felt like probably got diverted that we'll never know about, to get that across the finish line and in good working order. It probably sucked the sales out of a couple of games just to get it out the door.
Perhaps.
And it's paid off for them. It was a good
has
gamble.
Paid off.
Right?
It was a good gamble. And
but
now
they need to be able to distribute those and not get stuck in that same kind of murky water again.
Right.
If they can help it. The project planning, the execution, the staffing on these individual projects needs to be handled appropriately so that they can continue to move forward at a good clip. Hopefully without having a crap ton of crunch time on developers, which has been a major problem in the industry forever.
Well, they're not the thing about them. They're not doing crunch. I mean, you could see that that's not happening at Xbox, and I think that's starting to not happen all over the place. People are getting away from it because they're afraid of being reported on it.
Right. It's becoming a PR nightmare.
It's becoming a PR nightmare. But at this point,
even if you ask for volunteers.
Even if you ask for volunteers. And even if people want to
Nobody
do
wants to be voluntold.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, and even Rap says it's been an albatross for sure for them for a while. But they knew it was a big title. They knew it needed to come out, and they knew it needed to be done right. So Phil did the smart thing and made sure it came out when it was supposed to, with minimal bugs, or at least an acceptable number of bugs. Because a game that size on that engine, you're just not going to get completely bug free. You can't.
And they can
It's
patch
just
it.
impossible.
And they'll patch it. They'll fix a couple things here and there. But the pump seems to be primed because Starfield is now. We're about to get Forza. Next year we're getting Avowed, right? Next year is Avowed. Next year is Fable's next year, right? They said 2024.
Is Fable next year?
Did they say?
I would like to see actual footage on that. All we've seen is the one vague trailer.
I think they said it was 2024, but it's perhaps.
I thought they did.
That's a really short
they-
time to have not seen
mentioned
any gameplay at all on that game.
I think you'll start seeing gameplay at the beginning of the year.
Okay.
I think you'll start seeing. I
You
think
see it at E3.
The
Oh,
non-existent show.
non-existent E3. Right. It's now E1. E0. I mean, there's. Let's just take a look at the. You're getting.
I mean, if they can get Fable out, that's great. I mean, that's been overdue for another entry for a very, very, very long time.
Yes, and it's being done by Playground, which I'm very happy for.
Just stop getting Peter Molyneux to promise me that, if you plant a seed, well, it'll grow a universe within the game. Just stop with that nonsense. Just bring me a good game.
Milo will be in the new game.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I'm missing other. Oh, Hellblade 2 will be next year.
Oh yeah.
So that's 5 right there. Right? They call 5? Fable, Avowed, no 4. So there's your 1 a quarter.
Yeah,
So
even Big Block says that Starfield's pretty much a savior for Xbox. For non-fanboys like himself, it puts confidence back into the brand. Redfall and lack of other titles put it behind the PS4 in his mind. Now there's an actual competition.
Well, and he's got Starfield as a 9, so
Yeah.
But I think this was like releasing a pressure valve for them. And now that this game is out, damn it, we're gonna finish. We started with Starfield, we're gonna finish with Starfield. Now that this game is out, all that pressure is gone. Now they get Forts out the door, they get Avowed, they get
Hellblade.
Hellblade, they get Fable. Don't forget, at some point, Matt Booty still promises me that there's a Perfect Dark coming.
I was about to say, I'd like to see something in Perfect Dark.
State of Decay 3. I don't know where that is.
That's 2025. Outer Worlds 2.
They're doing a 4K remaster of Killer Instinct. I'd like to see some more motion on another one of those come out after that.
That would be
nice.
nice.
Yeah, Oblivion.
Right? The remaster of Oblivion. We're going to start seeing things about... the hell's the other... I've come to the end of my abilities here, and it's 12:47, and Chris is about to fall.
That's okay. It's almost 11 o'clock
I'm about
here.
to jump out.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna get us. I'm gonna get us out of here. We can have that discussion next week. No, because it's I wasn't expecting 12:47. We've crossed the 3-hour.
No, because
threshold.
we talked about Starfield, and we're probably going to end with Starfield too.
Clockwork Revolution is 2024. Thank you, Rab. So you know what?
Yeah,
That's. So next week we can go over the games that are the games coming, because we talked about the games of 2023. We start talking about the games next. We still have to talk about PlayStation. I mean, there was a state of play. There was some Nintendo news, so we got to kind of catch up on that. Sai, what's going on? Sai's in the house. Says, what's up, y'all? I heard the new Elder Scrolls was confirmed exclusive. Then I heard about this leak. Crazy day. Yes. What's going on? You caught us at the very end. We were just getting ready to get off. Although 33 people are still freaking watching us. This is amazing.
I feel bad pimping my channel at this point.
No, pimp your channel. Like pimp my ride. GeekStorian, because I'm on your channel in spots. So you need to pimp your channel. So, all right. But I am going to go ahead and get us out of here because it is 12:48. It's 11:48 for Chris.
Talking.
I can't. I got to go to bed too.
The only thing I'd say, guys, is I do a lot of game history. I'm about to do some live streams and stuff like that on my channel. A lot of it is just uploaded content. It's not live content yet. I'm working into doing more live content. So if you're into game history and you do want to watch a few live streams here and there, probably not as much as Mike's doing, because Mike's done like 2 billion of them since he's been on the platform. Then, check out the channel, come hang out, give it a follow, and see what you think whenever I can kind of get things going. I did a video up today, matter of fact, on the Steam controller, which got discontinued in 2019.
Yep.
I'm going to have one coming out next week on, ironically enough, Console Wars.
I mean, look at this. Look at this, guys. The history of Metroid, the Steam controller, first secret character, Mortal Kombat. He did a Mortal Kombat stream. Look, 133. Look, man, you're getting hit. You're getting hits here.
It's starting to kind of get out there. Not a lot of people are kind of following it yet. People are finding it and kind of watching content, so it's cool.
This is great.
Hopefully, it'll kind of get some traction. I'm gonna get some more of the game mechanic stuff uploaded on there.
I'm not getting this on my videos, which is why I stopped doing videos. Look at this.
A lot of those have been up there for a while. Well, the one that actually, that TV tuner one, did really well on YouTube, but it's not, nobody likes it here.
Well,
it's weird. I thought that was a solid video. I liked it.
Yeah. So please, come on, guys.
So it like I said, no pressure on it. If you guys like that kind of content, be on there. I do want to eventually start making some Rumble exclusive stuff that will not be going to any other platform. It's just a matter of getting out from under the water enough to be able to kind of do that. And honestly, starting to try to set up streaming has kind of killed some of my momentum because I've been trying to get all that figured out and streamlined so that when I do that, I don't make a complete mess of things. So, there's that quandary that's been in the middle of everything too. Yeah. So every little thing I add kind of adds delays onto other things. So, it's kind of a work in process. A lot of my stuff is edited, and the edited stuff can, the Steam controller one probably took me all day today to edit. And got it out like this afternoon. It took me probably 6-7 hours to do. And that's light compared to some of the other videos. So edited video content takes a long time to do. So if it gets a little spotty when I start streaming, I apologize. But, there's a give and take in everything because I only have so many hours in a day.
Yeah. All right. So with that, Peter, Chris, we soldier on. Yeah, this has been
great.
Show
101 on Rumble.
Yeah, 101
Yeah,
on
I'm tempted
Rumble.
to come on next week if you guys talk Nintendo. I loved that direct. For the record, I thought there was a lot of good stuff there.
All right.
If you're a Nintendo fan, there was a lot of good stuff.
Get Nick back on because I haven't watched it.
All right.
I haven't watched it either. Or
I
the
haven't either.
PlayStation.
So.
I didn't
watch
watch
the
the
PlayStation one. I did watch the Nintendo one because it came on early and I was working while I was watching it. But I want to watch it again if I'm going to be on the show because I want to have a fresh memory of it. Because there's a bunch of stuff I totally forgot about that I saw and I'm like, oh, that looks really cool, and totally spaced on it after the fact.
I'm really interested in any game, the one, the driving one, is it Driving Paradise, Peter, or y'all remember?
Who?
The one that's coming out on PS5. It's coming on PC too, but it's the driving one. It's kind of like a driving RPG.
Oh yeah.
The station wagon, you can upgrade it and all that.
Yeah, I forgot
Really
what it's called.
Very interested in that.
All right. And all right. So, with all that, I'm gonna get us out of here so we can all get to bed. Guys, thank you. Thanks for jumping in and coming on tonight, Nick. We always love to have you.
I had a blast. I did not think we were gonna completely cycle around the Starfield black hole all night, but I was part of the problem. So
yeah, a good, and this is the mark of a good game that we just keep talking about it. So
yeah, I was an enabler tonight.
And playing
Shame on me.
No, it's okay. I did it. I'm guilty too. We're all guilty of it. But it shows. But it does show you.
Tomorrow. Thank you.
So, and I'm probably gonna stream. I'll probably stream some Starfield on Saturday night and play through some side stuff just because because I do want to continue to get through. I'm almost done. I've been told. Your boy Roy told me that I'm 75% through Jedi Survivor, and I do want to finish that. So Thursday night stream might be Jedi Survivor. So we'll see.
Let me know when you get Mortal Kombat too, because one, I'm curious about your impressions, and two, we can beat the snot out of each other.
I would love that. Actually, that would be great. So, all right. Thank you, everybody. Good God, 32 people still watching. This is amazing. Thank you, everybody who spent time with us tonight. Thank you for everybody who has followed us. Hopefully, we get to that 150th follower, which would be awesome. And thank you, Nick and Marceau, for being our third and fourth sub. What the hell, guys? I'm gonna start coming up with some sub-only emotes and start getting some ideas. And like I said, watch out, guys, because we've got some new things coming to the channel as we start ramping up to be here kind of only. New intro videos coming. I'm even thinking of working on some new placeholder videos to give people an idea of what that night stream is going to be. And and we've got some changes coming that I think are going to be really great for us. So thank you, everybody. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that follow button. Help us get to 150 followers. Hit that thumbs up. Give us a sub. Come to our locals. Be part of our family. Whatever you want to do to support us. If you just want to hang out and watch, we love that too. You guys, we're beside ourselves.
Yeah,
Thank
go
you guys.
slamming on my channel when you got a minute.
Absolutely, and we'll see. Yeah.
Shameless plug.
Yep. Oh, and we'll see you. We'll see you the next Monday for Retro Roots. So.
Absolutely.
Nice. Great stream,
We need
guys.
to work
Going
on the
to
topic
den
for that one too.
Yeah, we do. Going to the den right now with some contraband, thanks to you. Starfield isn't a 4-letter word. And Game Complainers, we'll talk to you about getting you guys on. We are going to have some guests on very soon. Lumpy Potato will be with us. Uncle Pudge wants to come on with us. We've had Silver Fox Gamer. We're going to get the Game Complainers on. It's going to be a great time. And just keep with us, folks. We're just getting started. 2024 is going to be a hell of a year for us, I think. And thank you, Chris, Peter, Nick, my brothers.
It's good.
Hey,
This was
always
fun.
happy to come on
Everybody.
here. My wife
Adios, gamers.
laments the fact that she doesn't see me on these nights.
Oh, well, tell her we love her too. Yeah, she's one of my favorites. You know that.
I love my wife to death. She puts up with all my crap.
What our wives do for us. So, thank you, everybody. Have a great week. We'll see you on Thursday night for streaming something. Pick up a controller. Get some gaming in. Lay on, gamers.
Game on.